Appreciate you taking the time on this Monday afternoon. I'm your Monday host, Teagan Witko, joined alongside voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mr. Dave Thomas, Colson Schultz on the controls, keeping us on the air at 620 CKRM and on the stream at sportscage.com, as well as our YouTube channel. All of our guests, by the way, that are going to be joining us this afternoon, join us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. It's the pizza known worldwide for a reason, loaded with toppings of Western Canadian ingredients and cooked to perfection. And you know what? I got to be honest, Dave. It was a long day and I don't feel like cooking tonight. What's the best pizza from Western Pizza?
Oh, the number 2.
What's the number 2?
Pepperoni bacon mushroom.
Ooh.
Is it terrible that I know the number right there? Like, you know,
so
ask me what my new postal code is, no clue. But I can tell you what the number 2 is at Western Pizza.
Do you remember your co-op number?
From where? From here? From Saskatoon? From Weyburn?
Take your pick.
I'm a multi-co-op member, man.
Okay.
But
that's how
Regina,
you can tell someone travels a lot.
In Regina, no.
No.
Saskatoon, yes. And actually, I can remember my Weyburn. Again, I was from 0 to 18 in Weyburn, something like that. And I can still remember that one. And I really someday want to go back to the Weyburn Co-op and just see if it actually works or not.
I mean, you're not going to get the equity check, or someone will, but it's just going to sit there.
But I feel like such an outsider when I go to a community and I have to say, no, I don't have a membership number here. Like, I feel like they're judging me. You know what I mean?
It happens to me all the time in Moosomin, and I know they're used to it being that they're right on, the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border, but I frequent Manitoba to see family, and I'm just like, man, the amount of money I have spent on gas here, that equity check would be so sweet.
I feel like people look down at you when you don't have a co-op number. Just saying. Do
you remember yours, Colson?
My co-op number?
Yeah.
Yes, I got mine.
How many do you have? Maybe that's the question. How many co-op numbers do you have? Can you beat 3?
I personally, with my wife, we just have 1. But before we got ours, we alternated between using my grandma's and her parents, like my wife's parents. But I was going to say the opposite of not having a co-op number. If you have a really low co-op number, people go, oh, okay, you've been here for a minute.
True.
And then you don't get ID'd for lotto tickets.
Yeah, because my grandma's it's only 5 digits, which it's not too crazy.
Yeah.
But the first digit is 2, and you're like, oh, that's an old one. So...
See, I notice in this era and I'm sorry, we're going to get to sports here in a second, but I notice in this era, everybody seems to have 6-digit co-op numbers, but everybody says it with the same cadence as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
See, that's interesting because that's somewhat inefficient.
A little bit. But everybody does it. I've stood in the line at co-op waiting to pay for my fuel, and I've noticed every single person says it with the same cadence, broken up into 3s.
See, and if you deliver
easy to remember that way.
No, it's harder. They're actually, okay, like, again, I've looked way too far into this, and I don't, because there's huge rider news today. And But
what? Nothing to talk about.
All I'm saying is that the experts say that you should break it into numbers, right? So whatever it is you're trying to remember, right? So if you're remembering a 6-digit sequence, it's actually way harder to remember than it would be if you, say, had to remember 3 2-digit sequences. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like 13, 14, 15, 16, or whatever. 13, 14, 15, right? Would be easier than 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5.
Now we're taking a peek into the human brain here.
I know.
You have really thought about this.
This is deep.
Are you?
But if I understand that I'm saying 1, 3 and meaning 13, that's probably easier than 13 because it's shorter. And I think the whole point of it is to shorter pieces of info for your brain to remember. Because I know what you're talking about because I think it was a Survivor episode. I don't watch Survivor, but I've seen one of them where a guy comes back at the end and he's like, oh yeah, I remembered because your brain remembers numbers easier than symbols. And I just assigned the symbols numbers and remembered all the numbers. And then came back, wrote it all out in one go. And everyone else was like, what?
Colson, man, you are disputing science.
No.
Go ahead. Don't give us your co-op number. Give us your membership number to the Flat Earth Society. Okay? Let's go ahead. Throw that in there.
Careful, I have the buttons.
True. Yeah, that's very true. He can just turn off that mic.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. As Dave alluded to, some pretty big rider news. Pair of signings. Saskatchewan Roughriders on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, it seems like a while since we've signed defensive players, but these are 2 stalwarts. Campbell signed early this morning, and then about an hour later, Thurman. He went ahead and re-upped 2 huge pieces. Of course, Campbell, we saw what he did, not only throughout the season, but how about that big play in the Grey Cup to come up with the football?
Yeah, and then huge turnover.
Thurman, you know what? He's probably one of the best leaders I've seen in any sport anywhere. And again, not a lot of people see that behind the scenes, but huge signings today.
But it does feel like they're shifting their focus a little bit, Rider Nation, because, I mean, we also last week learned that Josh Bell is moving in as defensive coordinator. A job that, head coach Corey Mace had previously also held.
No, absolutely. And there's a couple of pieces. Number one, Joshua Bell is a very well-respected coach within the Riders dressing room, number one. Point two is that Josh Bell is very highly respected in the Canadian Football League. And it was almost just a matter of time before he was going to be offered a defensive coordinator spot.
Somebody else nabbed him up, yeah.
So, big signing. I think it's a well-deserved promotion. And again, it's well-earned, well-deserved. It wasn't, hey, you better promote me or I'm leaving. I think it's just a natural progression, and Coach Mace sounds pretty excited about it.
Well, and let's not forget Micah Johnson.
Yes, Micah Johnson.
He's also moved into a defensive coaching role. So, yeah, definitely shifting focus a little bit there in the Rider front office. Not to mention they're in the middle of winter meetings right now in Calgary. Today was day one. They had their big media availability, if you will, throughout most of the day, actually. And I know that there's a lot that was discussed when it came to head coach Corey Mace and general manager Jeremy O'Day. We should dive into that a little bit later on.
Okay, deal.
Okay.
Because they had a lot to say, and you won't want to miss it.
Yeah, they had plenty to say. We will be getting to that here in just a little bit. Shifting gears in Melville, provincial curling championships wrapped yesterday. So on the med side, Team Knapp will represent Team Saskatchewan at the Montana's Brier. That's going to kick off end of February, the 27th, if I remember correctly. And then on the women's side, Team Campbell representing Saskatchewan at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. That's in Mississauga, and that starts later this month. So pretty exciting stuff. You watch any of the curling?
I did actually, quite a bit of it. And it was interesting because, again, the way that this is set up, it was a full round robin for both sides. And Ashley Teveno from Martinsville and Rylan Kleiter from Saskatoon went undefeated through the round robin. They looked like the teams to beat, and they had fantastic events. But Kelly Knapp was able to beat Kleiter not once but twice in the playoffs. And then Jolene Campbell, full marks for the effort that she put in, defeating Ashley Teveno in the 1-2 game and then making the most of her opportunity in the final. Again, both well-curled games and pretty well-attended event with volunteers that came out of the woodwork to make it a huge success. So big time.
Well, and here in Saskatchewan, we know how to throw a party around a curling tournament.
Yeah, that's right. And you throw in what's happening at the patch, and apparently it was a good time had by all. But again, congratulations to the Knapp rink, and of course, Jolene Campbell, they will represent as well. Jolene Campbell, 10 years since she won her first Scotties, or I guess provincial women's curling championship back in 2016. So she'll go back to the Scotties as a skip for the first time in a decade.
Now off to Ontario at the end of the month. There was also a few football games that were, good.
They were okay, weren't they? Yeah, you know what? The game quality index would have been up there.
If you were watching the stream at sportscage.com, you can see that Barney has a very wrinkled Patriots flag behind me here on the screen. Tempted to take it down, but I'm like, you know what? They didn't allow a single touchdown last night. I'll let them have this one.
Was New England that good, or were the Chargers that bad?
I think it's the latter of the two.
I think you're right. But hey, everybody's got his opportunity, and let's face it, New England played well all season. They used home field to their advantage. I can't wait to talk about that a little bit later on when you talk about warm weather teams playing against cold weather teams. I read an interesting number, and I'll see if a very well-known former Saskatchewan Roughrider is able to shed light on that.
Oh, talk about a segue. I was just going to say we have to dive into those games for, well, I guess all of but one wild card weekend games because there's still the Monday nighter coming up tonight. So yes, Darian Durant going to be joining us shortly after 5:00. We're going to dive into, NFL games. We're also obviously going to talk about everything that's transpired with the Saskatchewan Roughriders as of late. And of course, we'll also hear from head coach Corey Mace and Jeremy O'Day a little bit later on. In addition to that, 3:30 this afternoon, we're going to speak with Zeljko Stefanovic, founder of Sask Selects. That's based out of Moose Jaw. They just had their big Battle of the Prairies tournament this weekend. Yeah, it's massive. Players from all across North America in attendance for that one. We also spoke with the vice president, Chad MacPherson, from the Prairie Store Minor Hockey Association. They got some issues with ice surface availability. So we're going to see where they're at with that. They put out a call to action in the fall. And then I just kind of wanted to do a follow-up on that and see how we're doing. Clutch Performer. Plenty of those from the weekend, so we're going to dive into that a little bit later on. And then in Pat's chat around 5:30, Caden Brown will be joining us, who recently committed to Lindenwood University for the 2026-27 season. And we're also going to be giving away some tickets to the Pats game this Wednesday night. Swift Current in town, so if you want to check that out, all we're going to be asking for you to do is send in two simple things. At least I hope they're simple. You're going to text us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Okay, 306-936-6262. You're going to send us your name, first and last, and the word Pats.
And the word Pats.
The word Pats. Is that easy enough?
I thought you were going to collect somebody's co-op number. I'm like, perfect.
Well, I don't want to give them the equity. What are we talking about here? Come on.
There you go.
Prairie Land Rentals text line. You can hit us up anytime if you have a question for Darian Durant or any of our other guests for that matter. Make sure that you reach out, okay? And whatever you need to get the job done, by the way, Prairie Land Rentals has it. Also, an official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. 306-936-6262. You know what? I think we actually have to take a quick break here because we got to talk winter meetings here. So let's do that in the meantime. We'll be back. This is the Monday edition of the Sports Cage brought to you by Keln Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kelnsolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. Hang tight. We'll be right back. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM and sportscage.com. It's the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. We appreciate you watching on the stream at sportscage.com or YouTube, as always, and then listening at 620 CKRM. I'm Teagan Witko with Dave Thomas, Colson Schultz running the controls. And we mentioned it today, day one of the winter meetings in Calgary for the CFL. That means all the general managers, all of the coaches are in attendance. And there was a pretty lengthy list of items that they were expecting to talk about after all the rule changes were announced.
Well, that's right. There's the rule changes that they've announced, so they're going to discuss. Will the rules committee, as well as all the executives from the CFL, as how that's going to fall into place. There also were some unique items that kind of popped up on the agenda that caught a few people off guard, including myself. They're going to talk a little bit about what the playoff structure could look like moving forward, talk about rosters and maybe getting rid of the negotiation lists. Instead, you have to draft American players, which is an entirely different idea for what the teams are doing right now.
And so many more players, right?
Oh, yes, exactly, right? And how do you determine who's eligible? And again, that's what they're talking about right now. And the other one was the command center, right? The review center. No longer the command center, it's the review center. And
they're just going to announce they're changing the name again?
Well, no, I think they're actually going to do a deep dive as to what is and what isn't, what constitutes, what doesn't. When should the center get involved? When should it not? So the thing is that everybody's going in, and again, saying and doing are two different things, I understand. But having heard from every general manager and head coach in the Canadian Football League this morning, everyone's going in with open ears and open eyes and waiting to find out what it might mean.
And no one was willing to share their thoughts on the rule changes in that availability. They were waiting until they get to sit down and have a discussion. Because if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time all of these key players are going to be in the same room since Stuart Johnston made that announcement to the change.
Well, they weren't even there then, right? So it was all the board of governors that approved the changes. And so now the football ops get an opportunity to go through with a fine-tooth comb with what may or may not look like. And it's going to be an interesting 3 days of discussion. The agenda, no, they've never published the agenda for the winter meetings before this year. So everybody knows what they're talking about. Will they get to every agenda item? I'm not sure. Yeah,
there was a couple of things here that did stick out to me as well. And they also put a caveat on there. This list is not exhaustive. Like, there could be more things that come up. I don't know how they're going to bang this out in a matter of 3 days, because Stuart Johnston's going to be addressing the public and media on Wednesday.
Yes.
So they kind of have to get it done. Those might be some long nights with Western Pizza.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not order in? And I'm sure they'll deliver. Yeah. Sorry, Spiro. I didn't mean to do that.
All the way to Calgary. Yeah. We could fly it out there, right? But let's focus on the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yes.
And what Jeremy O'Day and Corey Mace had to say when they were asked about some of these different items. Now, obviously, a pair of signings today, top of mind for a lot of people. Let's start with, the signing of Teagan Campbell. Here's head coach Corey Mace.
Obviously, I think everybody's aware that the type of player and the kind of season that he had last year, extremely important, that we've got some corners with a little bit of size and some speed, and even TC was out there, laying a couple hits last year. He's got some magnets in his hands, and we're really based off of turnover football, and he managed to do that at a high clip, even missing a portion of the games. It was extremely important to get him back for the playoff run and ultimately the Grey Cup, where he's part of two crucial turnovers. So on top of all that, man, outstanding human being, great father figure, great husband. there's a lot of good things you can say about TC. Happy to have him back.
Yeah, just he's, as Corey said, he's a difference maker for us. Great player, regardless of the passport. Obviously, him being Canadian does help us with the ratio. I think you could tell there's a difference when he's not in the game. And I think, just fit right in. You weren't sure, how that was going to take place when he came back from the NFL, and just kind of fit right in with all the guys, and, became a big part of the locker room, and, super excited for him to have the opportunity to win the Grey Cup there. And then, we're just excited to have TC back.
Corey Mace and Jeremy O'Day, of course, discussing the extension for the one and only Teagan Campbell. And as if they weren't busy enough, as we alluded to earlier with winter meetings and the Teagan signing, there was also another one, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And probably the quarterback of the defense is your middle linebacker, and the Riders were able to go ahead and re-sign Jameer Thurman, a pending free agent. And as you can well imagine, they were quite excited about that. Jeremy O'Day talked to us about it.
Well, first of all, very important to get Jameer back. He's one of our leaders, obviously a team captain, just a consummate professional. Works his butt off. We talk about a couple years ago where he played with a torn bicep and fought through injury and played the whole year for us and played at a high level, and gives us some continuity at the the middle linebacker spot. So just important piece, and wanted to have him for another year.
Head coach Corey Mace and general manager Jeremy O'Day addressing media at the winter meetings in Calgary this week. So, of course, a pair of signings today. Last week, They also announced their full coaching staff for the upcoming season, and some, familiar faces on there, obviously. But this one stuck out to a lot of people. Joshua Bell is going to be stepping into the role as defensive coordinator. And he told us that was head coach Corey Mace. Let us know what he thought about that.
Josh, he's done an incredible job through his entire coaching career. Whether it just be, I've always thought of him as one of the top coaches at his position group. And certainly just, how we operate and how we've operated, for quite a few years together. It's a collaborative effort. I don't think that's going to change at all. But certainly, a lot of people I'm sure would be interested in having Josh Bell, run their defense. And we're fortunate as ever to have him stay in the building and be able to do that, with us. And truthfully, I know it was important for him as well, man. So extremely, extremely excited, for his opportunity, but obviously something that we'll be right there together as we've been to this point. So worked out great.
Now, I don't know about you, Dave, but one of the major things I've been seeing people talk about with that change, with that promotion of Joshua Bell now moving to the defensive coordinator position, that was a role that head coach Corey Mace also held. So what does that look like? I know that there were some people adding you on Twitter.
Well, yeah, that's right. And it's interesting because Joshua Bell, as you just heard, there's a lot of respect from the coaching staff towards him, but there's a ton more towards the players. So in releasing that coaching staff, Jeff Higgins and Phil Daniels, so Jeff Higgins, of course, the assistant special teams coordinator, he isn't going to be returning, and neither is Phil Daniels, who's going to be joining the coaching staff of Ryan Dinwiddie in Ottawa. So that means Jeff Stusik is coming in and also supporting the defensive staff, Micah Johnson, whom we just talked about. And Coach Mace then had to discuss, of course, when he was hired, he made it abundantly clear that I'm coming in as the head coach, but I'm also coming in as the defensive coordinator. So what went into that decision then for him to step down and give the role essentially to Joshua Bell?
With Bell, to be honest, man, kind of what we touched on, no doubt many teams would want Joshua Bell to be their defensive coordinator, and something that, wasn't a secret for myself or Josh. And, this is something that we talked about and certainly prepped, been prepping Josh and pushing Josh to prep for taking that next step and working hand in hand with him over the last couple of years and doing so. It was just his time, man. He's definitely earned the right to be able to see what that looks like. And certainly, a lot of stuff that our defense looks like going back a bunch of years is from the brains of, Joshua Bell, myself, and everybody else included. And how we operate, I don't think is going to change. It's just maybe the The recipe probably the same, but the ingredients might look a little bit different, have a little different flavor to it, so, and I'm excited to see that too.
The one thing, a couple of things I will say about Joshua Bell, incredibly talented.
Yep.
And possibly the most animated coach on the sidelines. And I absolutely love it. Maybe I'm only noticing it in its recency bias because this is my first year really, really closely covering this team. But he is a personality, and I can see why the players like him.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the ideas that he has. And he talks about it. And I had a great conversation with him at one point this season when the Riders were giving up 400 passing yards per game. Of course, he previously was the pass game defensive coordinator, for lack of a better term. And he's like, don't worry. Like, we've had moving pieces all the time. Like, I'm not worried. Like, we've got guys that are veteran guys in the locker room, but those guys are all coachable. We can have conversations. And that's what set Josh Bell, I think, apart in a lot of guys' minds, of the respect that they had mutually, because he's not going to dictate the terms. He's going to be able to relay the information two ways to make you the better player, if that makes sense.
Well, and I think that there's a lot, when we look at all of the signings that have happened in this offseason already, and we still have a long ways to go.
Yes.
Right? We still have about 4 months to go here, a month until the free agency window opens. But I think the culture is really something that's really impressive with this team. And I mean, we've seen a couple of receivers already re-signed, but one of them we also see exit in Dante Myers. It was announced last week. I was so torn about this, but he is signed a futures contract, is my understanding, with the Cincinnati Bengals. So that means that he is pursuing an NFL opportunity. And, Alan Lee, one of our contributors at SportsCage.com, he texted me immediately and asked how I felt about it.
Being the great Cincinnati Bengals fan that you are.
Initially, I'm like, okay, I don't want anybody on the Bengals to get hurt. I would love to see him play, but that means that there's probably some other things going on in Cincinnati. So I'm very torn on it. Although, if there is a Dante Myers jersey that is available for purchase on the Cincinnati Bengals website, you better believe I'm buying that thing. Oh, yeah. Let's go. That would be pretty cool to see Joe Burrow throw to him. And you know what? He is an incredibly talented player. So well-deserved. But that does mean there are some other decisions that Jeremy O'Day needs to make with his receiving core.
Absolutely, right? You have to move on from Dante Myers. And just maybe as a point of clarification, I get asked this all the time. What does a futures contract mean? Well, essentially, right, if you've signed a contract in an NFL with an NFL team right now, you are under contract for them for this season, which will end in a couple of weeks with the Super Bowl. The futures contract means that what you've signed does not impact this year's salary cap. Instead, it impacts next year's salary cap.
That's future.
Yes, absolutely. And so basically you're then able to attend the off-season workouts. You're able to attend training camp. You could make the roster spot because that's what you've signed for the 2026-2027 season, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a little bit different to the NFL versus CFL.
Exactly. But for Dante Myers, in his case, he gets his shot at the Cincinnati Bengals, well-earned, well-deserved, and we wish him all the best, obviously. But the other guy that's in that locker room, a pending free agent in 29 days, is Keyshawn Johnson. So does that change anything when it comes to the way the Riders are looking at him?
To be determined. Again, when we're talking about all these guys, I just want to start off by saying we'd love to have all these guys back. So I don't want to make it sound like it's impossible or not, but the reality of it is we're not going to be able to get every guy back that was on our roster last year, right? So those discussions are ongoing, and again, there's a lot of moving pieces. I'm sure everyone can understand that. We have a large number of free agents that we're dealing with right now, and kind of just taking it step by step with those guys. But would love to have them back. Just want to make sure that they understand that we'd love to have the guys back that were here last year, but we'll have to wait and see how that all works out.
So, of course, the catalyst of our conversation with Coach Mace and Jeremy O'Day was about the winter meetings in general. But when you get the opportunity, you ask about the big moves they're making on their roster. There's going to be plenty more coming from these two as the winter meetings roll out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the work isn't done, right?
No.
Jeremy O'Day keeps saying, we would love to have everyone back. We're well aware that it's not going to happen, is when you put a championship team on the field, whether it's your coaches or whether it's your team. Look at the Toronto Argonauts from their Grey Cup winning team a couple of years ago, right? Just gets picked apart.
Yeah.
And it's well-deserved because once you're a champion, you're a champion. So
So I understand that you actually had a bit of an analogy that you used when you were asking about these rule changes and maybe what O'Day and Mace are looking for.
Okay, so the rule changes are going to be discussed, right?
Yes.
And so I can't wrap my head around it. I keep getting asked, I'm sure you keep getting asked, what does the game look like, right? And so Coach Mace didn't want to talk about it at all during the season. He said, listen, we are focused on what we're doing in the here and now. We are not looking forward to next year. That's right. Absolutely. So the rule changes the way that I describe it. And I put this out to Coach Mace. I said, like, my wife, being the fantastic person that she is, she can decide that she is going to move the couch somewhere in the living room. And she will look at me and say, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, I have no idea. Like, we have to move it there. I'm still going to stub my toe on it no matter where it goes, but I cannot fathom what it's going to look like until I see what it does look like. Now, Coach Mace prepares for everything. So I asked him how he gets himself prepared for the impact on what the changes may be as far as the rules go in the game itself and the way that he has to prepare.
Yeah, I think once the 25 season concluded, you have a little bit more time to look at those things and some of the things that are being proposed, you can kind of steal a little bit of ideas from different places and then different situations and kind of changes how you watch the ball that's being played on TV right now. It changes your thought process, how you watching that, just kind of putting yourselves in those situations. But, for the most part, until we have the fine detail of everything, it's all kind of speculation until we have everything finalized to really be asserted with exactly, from the mindset of what we're going to do. So I have an idea, where the couch looks good, but for certain, I'm not sure. Either way, Dave, you're going to stub your toe on it, though, buddy.
It's true. It's a true fact.
Very true indeed. So that, of course, was head coach Corey Mace responding to, Dave's question about what this might look like in the 2026 season, specifically 27, when a lot of these major rule changes will be implemented. And that is something that all GMs and head coaches are discussing in Calgary this week.
And again, right, the biggest one that seems to be out there is the idea of what the final 3 minutes are going to look like. And nobody seems to have a concrete idea yet. And that's why they're meeting. And everybody says they're going in with an open mind. Some have some presentations that they want to make, which I think is very cool. But we'll find out by Wednesday. Yes,
there's going to be plenty more coming from this. Oh, yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of that. I can only imagine how fiery that room is going to be. There are some big personalities in this league. To be a fly on the wall. Oh, that'd be so much fun.
When you play card games at Christmas, you try to manipulate the rules no matter how you can into your favor? That's what I envision this being. Yeah, exactly.
I've never once in my life cheated at Monopoly, Dave.
Or Uno.
Well, no, that one I'll admit to.
Fair enough.
So the winter meetings taking place this week. More from head coach Corey Mace and, of course, general manager Jeremy O'Day throughout the week here as we get more. Now, we are going to take a quick break here and get to our next guest. Zeljko Stefanovic, co-founder of Saskatchewan Selects, just hosted Battle on the Prairies in Moose Jaw this weekend. We're going to find out more about that program and how it went. This is the SportsCage, streaming at SportsCage and 620 CKRM and SportsCage.com. Appreciate you being here. I'm Teagan Witko, your Monday host, with voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas, Colson Schultz, keeping us on track here. Always looking for your input on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 306-936-6262. Remember, deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. They can get you what you need to get the job done. And just really quickly here on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, we were talking about co-op numbers. So Jeff said, when I was living in Calgary in the early 2000s, I used my boss's mother's co-op number, and it was in the 20s.
Ooh. My boss's mother. I'd love to know how you got that co-op number.
You know what? If you don't have one, you might as well use someone's.
True.
Oh, Saskatchewan claim to fame here from Derek. First-time texter, too. Co-op number 5.
Like, your co-op number is 5? Like, there's no other digits? It's 5?
Derek, there's no other digits?
So does that...
I mean, he says claim to fame, so that's my assumption. I want him to clarify, please.
Does that mean someone has 1?
Oh, I would love to have number 1.
That would be something.
That That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Like a novelty co-op number.
You started a rabbit trail.
We really have, and I have no idea how we got here, but this is what we're dealing with. Anyway, I don't want to keep our next guest waiting any longer. Joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline, Zeljko Stefanovic, co-founder of Saskatchewan Selects based out of Moose Jaw. Thanks for doing this. Zeljko, you don't have to tell us what your co-op number is, but I am curious if it's in the single digits or, I don't know, is it in the 6 digits?
Hey, I'm from Croatia, so I don't even know what a co-op number is. But like, I'm just joking. No. We had co-op, Sherwood Co-op sponsor us this year, so they've been an amazing partner, and everybody go to the co-op, because go and renew your co-op number if you have to.
And share your co-op number with Coach Z so that he can help build up your equity, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's the way.
So we want to talk about Battle on the Prairies from this weekend, Coach Z. The club, they wrapped it up on Sunday yesterday at Yara Center, which is a beautiful facility, but it's an indoor football showcase that draw elite teams from across North America. So first of all, I just want to know, what's your take? How'd the weekend go?
It was long, man. It was like wall-to-wall football for 4 days. So like games got going at 7:30 in the morning on Thursday morning, and we ended last night or late yesterday at 5:30 p.m. with the championship games. It was 34 games I think we had over the course of 4 days. So it was a lot of football, a lot of fun. It was a lot of work to set up. It was a lot of volunteers, man. But it was well worth it. I mean, to be there yesterday, all 4 days for that matter. The mood in there, Teagan, like, I don't know if you've seen the new turf that we have in there, and the Yara Center was absolutely electric all day long.
I haven't actually seen the new turf yet, but when was that installed, and how big of a difference are you noticing it making?
It's huge, man. Like they just put in, started in May and it was finished in June. We have field turf, the best turf money can buy, inside the Yara Center. We have a big ass logo in there, like our Selects football logo in the center of the field. It makes us look like a lot of people were saying it looks like a mini Mercedes-Benz stadium. So the kids absolutely loved it. Like, we set up a huge replay screen in there. IKS comes in, sets up a 26-foot screen, so we can watch all the replays. So it's the fan experience is fantastic the entire weekend. So we've got the music blasting in there. It's quite an amazing little event center that we have in Moose Jaw, man. It's awesome.
Well, these are elite players, right? And it's not just from U.S. and Mexico, but Canada, Western Canadian teams, and rural communities as well. So why is it so important to be able to, bring in kids, especially from these rural communities who might not get this opportunity otherwise?
Listen, we have, for our program, in Saskatchewan, we have kids from 63 different communities across the province. So it's not just Regina kids or Saskatoon kids. Although I think I counted them. We have 16 players from Regina, across the 4 different age levels that we run, and then we have probably twice that from Saskatoon and the Martinsville area, and then the rest are all from across the province. And we have 300 kids in our program, because we have 7 teams that we run. And then we have, programs from Alberta, and then there's a program from Manitoba. To say, obviously, our since day one, and we started the program in 2011, our focus has always been on development. And, we want grinders, we want kids that want to learn the fundamental skills of football. And that's, we pride ourselves, and the program's focuses on that aspect of the game. However, we have this tournament that we hold in January. It started off as kind of a tune-up thing that we used to do before we travel somewhere to the U.S. or overseas to play football, and it's blown up. Our tournament is full for next year already, and it's 12 months away. We don't know how to make it so that we can add any more teams, because we are bursting at the seams as far as allowing teams into the tournament. So we're going to cap it. when we come back from our trip to Mexico this year, we're going to cap the tournament in teams, and we're going to leave it at that. And then, teams are going to have to vie for positions, man, to be able to get in. It's going to be on an invite basis only.
Coach, if you had said that the atmosphere was like AT&T Stadium, you'd have had me. But I digress from Dallas. I do want to say, though, this sounds like a remarkable experience for athletes, not just on the field, but what they also get off the field when it comes to teamwork, putting together a game plan against opponents that you don't know, and then just getting the opportunity to interact with people from around the world. Is that the experience that you're hoping to give these kids, or what do you hope that their takeaways are?
Listen, like at the end of the day, it's all about learning, right? And it's all about skill development. That's our focus, and that's the focus of a lot of the, a lot of the Canadian.
I think we might have lost Coach.
Uh-oh.
That's one of the things that's one of.
We got you now. We got you now.
Yes.
You cut out for a second.
I'm sorry. I thought this was just going to be a phone interview. I didn't know it was going to be a Zoom thing. I messed up. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Anyways, so that's what we focus on. Like obviously, being part of the tournament, like our tournament that we've been able to put together, just allows these kids then to highlight everything they've learned, and you're right, Dave, like, football is it's not just the stuff that you see. It's the ultimate in delayed gratification, man. Like, we've been practicing for 2 months, and then the kids get a chance to play in three mini games, right? So they want to show everybody what they've learned, and to do it inside the Yara, with that huge crowd, and all their buddies are in there cheering in the end zones. And I mean, if you would have been there to watch it, on Thursday night and Friday night, and then yesterday afternoon, some of the games, like one of the games finished 40-32. We don't always end up on the winning side of the score, but to me, that it's almost irrelevant, man, because like the fun that these kids have had and the memories they've made over the course of the last 4 days will last them a lifetime.
What's your individual takeaways from the event? Obviously, being around it for a number of years, you've seen the Mexican teams, for example, come and experience snow for the first time, or the bitter cold, or whatever it's been. What are your takeaways from this?
I tell you, the biggest takeaway is, first of all, like, I think the American teams think that they're going to come up here and they're going to walk all over us because this is their game, right? Mm-hmm. And man, a lot of them are in for a big surprise when they come here and we beat the tar out of them, and then it's they look for excuses, but like it's tough, man. Like, these are kids, and I've been saying this for the last 10 years, man. Our kids here in this province are some of the best football players in North America. And I've been standing on my soapbox screaming that out. Nobody listens. People in our program listen when the kids are getting NCAA scholarships, it's, again, the quality of football here in Western Canada, in Saskatchewan. You know what? This year, for the first time ever, the Edmonton Elks brought a selects program. There's some coaching staff changes there from U of A. So Edmonton Elks brought a legit varsity team and 14U team. Their number one goal, their practices, was to beat Saskatchewan. That's what they were working towards all the last 3 months. We're going to come in there, we're going to beat Saskatchewan. And they did beat us, but because they had a crazy team that they brought. That you rarely see in high school football. And that's kind of how this has morphed over the years. It's just into this incredibly competitive, elite, select type of football program that teams from all over the country now want to come and be part of, which is so much fun for the kids, man.
So, Zeljko, we've always been a football province. I don't think that's a secret. But you did mention that you guys are going to have to cap this thing at some point. Did you notice a spike in interest after the Riders won the Cup?
Well, you know what? Like, because our program starts early, before the Grey Cup, right? Teagan. So, we because of the success that we had of our tournament last year and the year before, we were bursting at the seams, man. I think we ended up cutting. I know it's a terrible word, man, but like we ended up cutting about 150 kids because we simply didn't have the room for practices with more than 300, right? So with more than 7 teams. So our yeah, and then you know what? Like then the success of the Riders with the Grey Cup, it just kind of blew everything up. Because like, everybody kind of sees the quality of the football, and you guys saw, at the U Sports level how well we did. I think we had, between U of S and U of R, I think there's 45 or 50 of our former players that are on those two teams, and then at the junior level, we had about the same. I think we have 30 kids or 35 kids that are on the Thunder that are former selects players, and then the same thing, with the Hilltops, man. And then the success at the U18 level, success at the U16 level over the last several years, we're kind of at the top of the game in Canada as far as minor football and youth football and high school football, and then now at the U Sports level. So every year we're competing at the national level for first or second place.
I don't want to call you out on numbers because I'm not really a good numbers guy, but only 18 from Regina. Like every person it seemed like I talked to this weekend was going to Moose Jaw because one of their kids were playing football in the selects tournament, which I guess is a cool thing. But you mentioned you've got 60, 70 different communities around the province that are represented. Where are kids coming from? And I guess that just goes to show the quality of the program that everybody wants to be involved in.
Yeah, remember, you know what, Dave? Like we have a kid on our 12U team that's from Flin Flon. They drive seven hours to practice. They leave Friday afternoon. They're practice there at early Saturday, and then they go home. They get home late Sunday night. Every weekend we have a practice, and so then we have some kids from Lloydminster, North Battleford, north of Sask, Prince Albert. We had kids from La Ronge. So, and then, a lot of kids, we have quite a few kids now from Medicine Hat that are making their way over because it's a, 4-hour drive to Moose Jaw, 3.5 hours. These are committed, vested, football families, right? And they want to be part of the program on the development side. They want to be part of, be part of the tournament, man, which was like a crazy experience all weekend. So, I mean, it's become super ultra competitive, right? So we'd like to see more kids from Regina, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's offered in Regina, that they can do, training in the off season. Whereas in the smaller communities, you're pretty limited. You kind of have to make that trek if you want to go somewhere and your kid is passionate about football and you want to kind of keep him in that. Parents make the trip if the kids are committed, and man, like by the looks of our numbers, every weekend we certainly don't have problems in keeping the kids in the program.
So talking to those families that I did from Regina this weekend, I said, tell me about the program. What are the highlights? Number one, they said experience. And then the number two thing was they said coaching. And that's got to be pretty gratifying to hear. I'm not sure who all the coaches are, but boy, that's a terrific compliment.
Well, thank you. You know what? Like I've said it before. Like we have some of the best coaches in the province, and like with that many teams, I think this year we had 54 or 53 coaches that were part of our program. Man, Dave, there's a guy coaching for us that coached me when I was in high school, and if you look at my hair, man, I'm not a spring chicken.
So 2 years ago, 3.
Been coaching, yeah. That dude's been coaching for Paul Dawson, is the guy that I'm talking about. He coached me at La Boldis when I was there back in the 80s, man. And he coaches for our program, an unbelievable individual. Like Greg Nesbitt coaches our defensive line at the varsity level. Again, 40 years of coaching experience. Addison Richards, who played for the Bombers. He was one of our original coaches when we started the program a few years, back in 2011. Matt Rumpel, also one of our original coaches. Like these are some great, and then we got some coaches from like the Weyburn area. We got some coaches from Swift Current. We got some coaches from Saskatoon that come down. We use a lot of the guys that want to give back to the program. Emmett Stedman, who was, was in our program for 6 years. He runs the RSBC development center there. He's one of our coaches on our varsity team. These are young men that were part of our program and now want to give back to these kids because they took so much out of it over the years when they were coming up. Emmett Stedman's made some unbelievable plays in our program over the years when we were traveling down to Dallas and San Antonio and Florida. Like those guys are super committed. Like we got the McCauley twins. They're coaching our 10U program, man. Like you can't get more energetic, more passionate dudes than Scott's boys, man. I don't know if you've ever seen them. Those 10-year-olds just respond so well to that energy that those kids bring, man. And it kind of fosters it, right? And to have those kind of individuals, helping us, it only makes the program better. And I think that's what the parents are seeing, right? Their kids are coming home. They're loving the experience. They're all sweaty because they're, just finished a 2-hour practice and they're learning so much, man, because we take it to the next level. Like everything is recorded. We have Zoom sessions where we break down the practice. We break down the practices, man. So like, you don't get that kind of stuff anywhere. So, the program is, that we take it to the next level, man. Like yesterday, IKS set up all their stuff inside the yard. We had 8 camera angles, man. Like the refs are allowed to review plays and calls, there's challenges. They get a challenge flag, they throw the challenge, and the refs go behind it. They look on the screen at, whether they got the call right. We're trying to different things. We have comms in the helmets for the kids, on the offensive side. So coaches are calling the plays in from the sidelines. It's a totally different level, man. And the kids and the parents are truly having fun with it. We're having a ball with it, man, because it's so much fun.
I think all you're missing are those post cams in the end zone.
Teagan, we were testing those this weekend.
I was
we're
joking.
Use them for next year. No. This is serious stuff, man. Like we tested those. We had a couple of angles. We just have to do a little bit of work to get them to tweak, for next year. But we will be using them at the first down level and in the end zones.
I love that. Well, I'm definitely going to have to come check out the new turf at Yara Center, but I know we got to go here. I did just want to ask you real quick. I know that you watched dozens of football games already this weekend, Coach, but it's wild card week. Wraps up tonight. Who you got? Steelers, Texans.
Oh man, I'm a Steelers dude, man. Like you gotta.
Okay, Dave is gone.
I can't. Yeah. Like I love Green Bay. I'm a former.
I'm sorry.
I'm old school, right? Like, I love Rodgers. The Steelers are going to take it for sure, man.
Well, we can agree to disagree, but Zeljko, appreciate your time. Really love this, and feel free to use my co-op number anytime. I'll take the equity. Will
do. Thank you so much, you guys. You've been awesome.
Oh, thanks so much. Zeljko Stefanovic, of course, co-founder of the Saskatchewan Selects based out of Moose Jaw. They just had their battle on the prairies this weekend, which looked absolutely incredible. I was kidding about the posts, but
the field, I know, right?
Yeah.
The pylon cam.
The pylon cam. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, we do have to take a break, so make sure that you hang tight. We do still have that sports ticker coming up. It's straight ahead. This is the Sports Cage. It's on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. And it is brought to you by Reliance Heath Group of Companies. Switch to Reliance today and get $200 cash back with your new water heater. Some conditions apply. Call on Reliance. A pair of signings coming out from the Saskatchewan Roughriders today. See, you got Canadian Tavon Campbell. He's coming back. American Jameer Thurman also signing a contract extension, so working on the defensive side of the ball in the front office there as they are in winter meetings this week in Calgary. PJHL, Moosomin Steelhawks at Regina Capitals tonight. In the NHL, a couple of Canadian teams in action, including the Canucks, who are looking for their first win of this calendar year as they travel to Montreal to take on the Habs. Also, Thatcher Demko on IR for the second time this season.
That's not good.
Not good at all. Oilers are in Chicago to take on Bedard and the Blackhawks, and the Leafs are on the road looking for their fourth straight win, but it's in Colorado. They're facing the Abs here. Got your work cut out for you, Leafs fans.
They haven't lost in regulation at home. They've only got two extra time losses, right?
Yeah, they are incredibly good. Let's see, in the NFL real quick here, obviously we just alluded to it with Coach Z. Houston Texans in Pittsburgh taking on the Steelers. 1991 was the last time Pittsburgh lost a Monday night game at home, but this is the first one that's an elimination game. But also, Mike Tomlin has lost 6 straight playoff games. So, I don't know.
What are you saying? There's a chance or there's not a chance?
One of them is going to be the difference maker. We're going to find out later tonight, I suppose. The winner is going to be facing the New England Patriots in the divisional round. NBA Raptors taking on the 76ers, and we mentioned it earlier in curling. Provincial curling championships wrapped up in Melville yesterday. Team Knapp winning on the men's side. On the women's side, Team Campbell. So the men's will advance to the Briar, and of course the women's side will advance to the Scotties starting later this month. That is your sports ticker. It's brought to you by Reliance Group of companies. Switch to Reliance today. Get $200 cash back with your new water heater. Some conditions apply. Call on Reliance. Welcome back. You got Teagan Witko, your Monday host, alongside Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Colson Schultz running the controls, keeping us on the air, on the stream, sportscage.com, and our YouTube channel as well. You can always join in the conversation. By the way, Prairie Land Rentals text line, whatever you need to get the job done. Prairie Rentals probably has it. Also an official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. And you want to deal with the owner, so go see him, okay? 600 Albert Street. That's where you're going to find them. All right, so I did just want to throw out a couple of things here first. We are giving away Regina Pats tickets at the end of the show today. We're going to make that draw, so if you want to go, 306-936-6262 is that Prairie Land Rentals text line. You got to give us your first and last name, okay? Your name, and then text in the word Pats. Super simple.
We do also accept co-op numbers.
I'll take it. I will, absolutely.
I want to know. No, we should. This is like co-op number bingo, right? Co-op member number bingo. How many co-op numbers do you have?
I mean, I got 6. We have someone on the text.
6? No.
Yeah.
Like actual different co-op.
You mean unique ones?
I'm like, wow, you're bragging now. You wouldn't get one in Mooseman, but every other place in the province?
Everywhere else that I'd never frequent. Sorry. I do still have one in Moose Jaw, but I stopped using it.
So it's still yours.
True.
Because you bought it.
That's why
membership has its privileges.
True. But that's probably why there are so many co-op numbers out there. Because what are we, a million, just over a milli in this province?
Yeah, like 1.1.
Yeah. But a lot of those are kids. They're not going to have the co-op number.
You never know. You start them early.
Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt to start them young.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah, exactly.
Don't ask us how we got into this conversation. Because
we won't know the answer. That's why.
We just landed here. It's Monday. We're having a good time with this, and we still have plenty on the way for you as well. So remember to text that Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Maybe you got a question for Darian Durant, because he's going to be coming up after 5 o'clock. We also have our clutch performers here in about half an hour or so. So maybe there's one that you want to toss in here for consideration. And then Pat's chat has Caden Brown coming in from the Regina Pats. We're also going to continue to talk a little bit about the CFL Winter Meetings. Head coach Corey Mace, GM Jeremy O'Day for your Saskatchewan Roughriders in attendance, and we did hear from them earlier in the afternoon. They're going to take a couple of days here, and then good old Stewie J, CFL commissioner, is going to address the public at the end of them all.
Stewie J, is that his rap name or what?
You know what? If the player
Stewie J,
if the players get nicknames, why can't people in management?
I'm not saying they can't, but I've never heard him referred to as Stewie J.
We're on like a for nickname basis now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now like of a rap that would involve moving the goalposts back.
Oh, we could get a parody going so fast.
Yeah. Stewie J.
I mean, everyone heard there were the big dogs techno vibe during the playoffs. So yeah, we can whip up something. Maybe not by next Monday, but I'll get to work on that. Okay. Monday edition of the SportsCage also brought to you by Keln Solar, installing solar and residential and commercial buildings for 35 years, local and trusted. Visit Keln Solar. Visit KelnSolar.com. So we were just talking with Coach Zeljko.
Yes.
Stefanovic, and I don't want to butcher his name, but I'm pretty sure I got it right. So he's from the Sask Selects in Moose Jaw, and they had their battle on the Prairies this weekend. Moose Jaw was bumping, though, because there was also senior women's hockey, kind of like an all-star showcase of sorts at Temple Garden Center. You were there?
Team North, I wasn't there, but a number of people were, over 500 in attendance. Team North defeated Team South 6-1, and there were a lot of smiles around, and there was a lot of women that were playing whose kids had a chance to see mom play in a competitive hockey game for the first time in a while. And by all accounts, it was well attended. Everybody had a good time. It was a good game, a good showcase. Team North jumped out to a quick 2-0 lead. Team South was chasing as they got the next goal, but then just couldn't get any closer than that. But again, all in all, you got to give them credit. This is the first time for everything. So everything is a first annual this year. And again,
isn't that inaugural? If it's first annual, isn't that I'm pretty sure that means inaugural.
Well, it could be. I'm not disputing it. I just made it up.
Colson just confirmed.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to Stewie J. Anyways,
yeah, I will.
But no, it was a great event.
Okay.
End of the day, great event at the Temple Gardens Center. And again, well done for the organizers. And again, good showcase.
And I will say that is one great facility, Temple Garden Center in Moose Jaw. The Olympic rink. Maybe not so much the case. Now, they did have their test events over the weekend, right? This has been a highly discussed topic over the past several weeks because at one point they were saying, is the NHL even going to allow these players to go? Obviously, we know, yes, they will. Now, the first test match, my understanding is it was briefly delayed due to what organizers were calling a small hole in the ice, which, to be fair, I feel like it is the first time that you're playing on this ice surface. Don't freak out. I mean, it's probably going to happen. Things need to settle. I don't want to say rushed through the construction. They rushed through the construction. I'm just going to say it.
They did. But like, how old were the pictures we were getting 4 weeks ago, when there wasn't even a roof on the building?
Yeah, I don't think they wanted people to take cameras in there, but oh boy, people did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Over the weekend. Like, the ice surface looks good. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the pictures I saw still had plastic sheets hanging around, some seats missing. So cosmetically, boots on the ground reporters aren't saying it looks fantastic. But what matters is, if you're watching the stream, Colson's popping up some video right now. Even the locker rooms, they resemble a unfinished basement. Is how I would describe it.
It's a little wood paneling away from an unfinished basement. You're right.
You can still see drywall mud. You can still see a lot of exposed rebar all throughout the facility. And my understanding is, now this is not me reporting, this is actually something I heard Elliot Friedman talking about over the weekend because he was also discussing pictures of the dressing room. Now, allegedly what people are hearing there is that their main focus and what they consider to be a victory is if everything on camera is functioning.
Absolutely it is. For sure it is.
I mean, the immediate areas around the ice surface might be working, but everything else might be a little bit of a gong show.
See, this...
Including the food. There were some people saying that the food might not be up to par for the players, I should specify, in Italy, where they're known for their delicious food.
See, the thing is, though, that this isn't a first, right?
Yeah.
There have been many a venue that opened without everything being ready to be opened, if you know what I mean. This isn't a hot take. So making sure that it looks good for the cameras is priority one.
Yes.
And again, it is priority one. Priority two will be player safety, right? And from what I understand with the ice surface, there was a hole in it that caused a delay in the one game that was just kind of right beside the left wing face-off circle. So what I'm telling you is that I don't think this is to be unexpected. But from what I also have learned is that they are going to actually be ripping the ice out again before the start of the Olympics because there's still a lot of work to do.
And I heard it was getting dirty.
That's right.
Like pretty dirty there too.
So it'll get dirty. So they'll have to rip the ice out, clean everything, and then let it go.
This is why you host test events.
Oh, that's why it was there, right?
I'm just wondering, like we saw the CFL PA come out with their report cards last week. Can we get each country's roster to give us a report card on the Olympic facilities?
I'm just hoping that it doesn't tarnish the will and want of NHL players to participate in the Olympics.
That's a fair point.
Obviously, you're going to learn from this, right? Like everyone, I'm assuming, will have a debrief at the end of it and say, hey, that doesn't work. Like, we have to have this ready to go. I'm guessing. Bottom
line, at the end of the day, we still get to see NHL players in the Olympics. And I am incredibly excited for that. I think it's going to be great hockey. I hope no one gets hurt, because then that's going to cause some issues, and I think a lot more discussion behind the scenes.
Yes, if there is an injury, or there seems to be a string of injuries, because what can happen, right, if the ice surface isn't right and you don't make the proper adjustment to your blades, right, then you start catching edges and stuff like that, and that can lead to twists, to sprains, to tears, dare I say. I want to knock on wood right now.
I mean, with the amount of times I've been seeing blades popping off players' skates as of late, it's almost a nightly thing. So
that's a whole new animal. We won't get into that technology.
Yeah, no, let's not. But Team Canada, they play their first game on the women's side February 5th versus Finland.
Yep.
Now, I do believe that's at a different facility than the one that we're specifically alluding to, but the men will be playing in that one. I don't want to butcher the name of what they're calling this rink, so I'm not going to.
The Olympic rink.
Okay, that's what we're calling it. All right. The men, they get underway. Team Canada, that is, the men's side, will get underway on February 12th versus Switzerland.
Yes.
So, Now with all of that Olympic mess out of the way here now, why don't we bring things back a little bit local with our next guest? They're going to be joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. We're going to be talking some Saskatchewan hockey. Joining us now on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, Chad MacPherson, Vice President of Prairie Storm Minor Hockey Association. Now, he's here to talk about a call to action that they recently put out. The demand for ice surface in among its teams. I mean, it's something that they have been facing for a few months now, to say the least, and registration numbers are through the roof. So, Chad, let's just start off really simple here. What factors have driven the rise in the need of local ice time? So what are you seeing as the major factor in not having enough ice surface for these players to play on?
Over the last 25 years, our local communities representing White City, Pilot Butte, and Balgonie and the surrounding RM have doubled in population, and we haven't built any additional ice rinks. So just that, with the popularity of hockey in the area, it's not sustainable with our current registration numbers.
We are a hockey province, Chad, and I do understand that over 700 registered players are participating this season. So how is that maybe affecting the player experience or development, or is that a problem at this point?
Our numbers are currently at 725, which is an increase of 65 players from last year. So it's pretty exponential growth from year to year. We've made some different tough decisions on how to accommodate the number of players. So our roster sizes continue to increase. I think we're up against the cap now there. We've been using out of town ice as much as we can that we can source. Trying to utilize or make increase our utilization of the ice that's available. Right now we're at 99%. So just any efficiency we could use to free up ice, we've done. So we're kind of done everything we can at this point. So now we're facing the reality of having to cap registrations and turn players away.
Now, that's not a situation that you want to find yourself in, as part of a hockey association, the vice president at that. But it's got to be there's got to be a silver lining here. I mean, our population in Saskatchewan is growing, especially around, this area, the Regina area that is, and Balgonie. And there's also the explosion of women's hockey as of late. I mean, you see it in the PWHL. That is a prime example right there. And you see all these people that are wanting to now play as women. So how have you seen that adjustment in your association?
Our female numbers are continuing to grow year over year. That's actually compounding our problem. Last year was the first year we've had a U13 team in a couple of years, and now we have 2 this year, and in a couple of years we'll have U15. And with all the other younger players coming up, it continues to increase our problem, not having enough ice for those additional teams.
I hate continuing to throw it back to the rink in Lang, Saskatchewan, the famous one that went viral with the drawbridge that's pulled down onto the ice surface and everything. But I imagine there are some facilities you're currently utilizing that could maybe use some upgrades. It's a Saskatchewan charm having those intricacies as part of our rinks here. But I mean, when you have this many players, you're capping off your teams. What limitations are you currently facing in these rinks? And I mean, especially after the closure of the Edenwald Arena.
Yeah, the Edenwald was kind of our overflow rink, and we lost that a couple of years ago due to infestation of wood mites. Since then, we've been using Odessa, Vibank, and Fort Capel as much as we can. So it's been a stopgap for us, but it's making players have to drive further to play.
Yeah, driving further. And are they up to par? Do those rinks need any upgrades that you're aware of?
Those facilities are pretty up to date and standard. They're all artificial ice plants.
Good.
There are some natural plants out there, or natural rinks out there, but for us, it's not reliable enough. We were using one a couple of years ago, and with the mild January, it just wasn't predictable enough to be able to use it.
So how many more ice surfaces, ballpark it for me, how many more would you need to kind of fit the need that you have right now?
Well, right now we're using those other 3 rinks that I mentioned for an additional 300 hours, which is about half of another rink already. The Pilot Butte rink is older. It was built in the late 60s, so I think its life expectancy is another 10 to 20 years. So we need to be looking at that long term. And our other 2 rinks in Balgonia and White City are about 25 years old. So just to project out, we're probably needing 2 rinks to accommodate for growth and 1 for replacing the existing rink. But right now, kind of our target's 2 at a minimum.
So in terms of yourself as the vice president and the rest of the board, what kind of steps have you taken in this planning process to address the need for more ice surface?
Well, even our own members, we've never really talked about it before November. We just kind of notified our members of the situation. A lot of people were in the dark on, how we've been limping through, I'll say, to make it work and get everybody on a team. But, we just had to make that call to action and make people aware of the situation. Since then, we've been meeting with all the local municipal councils and RM council and local officials, trying to find, where they're at, kind of what their appetite is and what funding's available through different grants.
So is that on all different levels of government that you're hoping to apply for these grants? I mean, municipal and provincially, because, you are in a bunch of different areas and you can't just deal with one municipality, right?
Right. It's kind of tricky. We're a regional organization and there's, 3 different towns plus an RM, and then you get into federal and provincial governments as well. I think most of the funding in the past has come through federal programs that the province has delivered. But I don't know, there was just some negotiations just prior to Christmas regarding that funding, and I don't know if there was a lot of recreational funding available in that announcement. For sure.
So, the board is starting to put together some pretty concrete plans here. You're starting to get that word out to people. How do others get involved? Those who aren't board members, let's say, families, volunteers, community members, if people wanted to support this, how would they go about that?
Well, they can reach out to us by visiting our website and contacting any one of the directors. I think some of our next steps are trying to get the municipalities all together and see what we can do. And then it'll become fundraising and starting to set some plans to move forward.
So are you saying I should write a letter?
No, just people reaching out if they want to volunteer to help fundraise, or if people want to make donations or have any ideas or anything that they could bring forward to support our efforts would be appreciated.
That's great. That's great. Chad MacPherson, Vice President of the, of course, the Prairie Storm Hockey Association. I can't get that right. Apparently, you guys made it too long on me. Where do we find out about any, fundraisers that are coming up? If you guys are hosting a steak night or a raffle of some sort, where's the best point of contact to get that information?
People can visit our website, psmha.ca, or check us out on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay. So you are on the socials, as the kids say. Okay. Gotcha. Understood. Female Hockey Day, that's going to be coming up next weekend as well. So give us the skinny on that, Chad.
It's our first ever female day. It's being held in Fort Capel. All of our female teams are going to be playing that day. The event's sponsored by Havana and Ackerman Construction. So this is just a whole celebration of female hockey within our organization, and we're really excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Okay. Well, I appreciate the time, Chad. Is there anything else that we missed that you want to throw in here, just, when it comes to your call to action, anything that we missed?
No, I don't think so. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to give us some airtime and let people know what we're up to.
As always, appreciate the time. Chad MacPherson joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. It's the pizza that's known worldwide for a reason. Loaded with toppings of Western Canadian ingredients and always cooked to perfection. We'll take a quick break and be right back on the Sports Cage at 620 CKRM.
It's late, the day's done, but you still need that part for your AGCO equipment. Good news, Nick Service now brings the parts department to your fingertips. With their new e-commerce site online parts platform, you can search fast, check in-stock items anytime, and see accurate pricing in seconds. No waiting, no guessing, just simple, reliable AGCO parts ordering when you need it. Easy, fast, stress-free. Nick Service puts the parts counter in your pocket. Order anytime at nickservice.com.
We asked Karen what it's like investing with Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions.
Brian is great to work with. He's always quick to get back to me. I like to ask a lot of questions, and he's always been really good. No question is a silly question. He cares about, when I ask him something, he's very detailed, and I know he cares about his clients, and he's very thorough when he explains things, so I understand it.
SmartInvestingSolutions.ca.
The SportsCage Clutch Performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
Man, all the talk about these co-op numbers.
Uh-oh.
It's, we're going to get to that in a little bit. We probably should do the Clutch Performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Now, I came in with 2 clutches, 1 unclutch.
What?
1 unclutch performer.
I thought you were I thought you were talking about your driving skills, and I'm like, what?
No, I can drive stick pretty well, actually.
2 clutches and an unclutch?
So I'm going to start with the negative. I don't like being negative all the time, but I just want to get this out there. The unclutch performers go to all of the jerks who are starting rumors about the Ottawa Senators players after Allmark left. Like he took that leave of absence.
Leave of absence, yeah.
And all of the garbage that I have been seeing on the internet, on social media, take your pick. It's everywhere. Mm-hmm. To the point where last week, I'm sure that you saw it, I'm sure Barney talked about it here on the SportsCage, that the team sent out a statement talking about how people were trolls and they needed to cut it out. Unclutch. Do not like that. I know they're getting paid millions of dollars. I know they are professional athletes. You pay to watch them. They are still human beings at the end of the day. Unclutch performer.
When you are messing with families, that's not cool.
That is not acceptable.
Apparently, where the whole thing is traceable back to as being the beginnings of this rumor that was terrible, the account has been deleted and the comment has also gone with it. Surprise, surprise.
It feels like it's almost a flashback to the Connor Bedard mum and Corey Perry thing from last season, which it's just like, why do we need to have this in hockey? Why do we need that?
Why do we need to have this in society?
Yeah, in society, in any sport, not even just hockey. It just seems more prevalent, and maybe it's my algorithm. This could be a me problem. I don't know. That just irritated me over the weekend to no end. I was not okay with that. So on the flip side of that, 2 clutch performers.
Ready.
So does someone else want to go first, or should I do all 3?
You're in.
Okay, let's just keep going then. My first clutch performer had a sick get-up arriving to work this weekend. So James Van Riemsdyk. Now, he set aside the usual suits and 2 hockey player uniform. The Detroit Red Wings forward showed up in a full Batman costume. Now, this was to celebrate his son Liam's 4th birthday before the team's game against the Habs in Montreal. I just thought that this was cool. This is why they don't have dress codes.
That is all kinds of cool. Because then you can do things like that. All kinds of cool, yeah.
I loved that so much. Okay, and the other one I have is truly... Okay, they're calling it a filthy move, but I would rather call it straight up delectable. University of Minnesota women's hockey star Abby Murphy, she was playing for Minnesota State, and this is insane. We're going to put this up. Watch the stream. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen this play already. So
not deterred by being 1-on-2, tries another absurd move, and it leads to a Minnesota goal.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. A turnover in the offensive zone, and off goes Abby Murphy. And Bella Finale, how about this move right here? Through the legs of Lawrence Zawoyski, and nobody picks up Finale.
Look at this. There's a close-up shot,
I mean,
an isolated shot of just,
one of the best in the world. Not
Cutting
just
down
at
the left wing,
level,
she basically lifts the puck up off of her stick. She lets it bounce, and then she smacks it down between the legs of her defender,
the legs,
and then skates onto it.
That's a basketball move, not a hockey move.
That's the bounce pass.
It's legal, Colson.
Yeah.
It was insane.
And it wasn't a high stick either.
No, she kept it low enough, and then she got it off to her teammate in for the goal. It is certainly getting people's attention. If you don't know, by the way, University of Minnesota captain Abby Murphy, also a U.S. Olympian, because she's going to be going with Team Canada over to Italy.
Very cool.
For the Olympic Games, which I am excited to watch the women's hockey as much as I am the men's, because there's some talented players that are going to be heading overseas for this one. Okay, there it is. 1 on clutch, 2 clutch. Dave, you're up.
Wow, my turn. Okay, well, I don't go down the road of basketball very often, but I love it when brains beat brawn sometimes. And if you were watching the Toronto Raptors game, they go to overtime against Philadelphia. Scotty Barnes comes up to the free throw line. They had intentionally gone ahead and given him the opportunity to shoot 2, knowing that with 0.8 seconds left, they figured they'd get the ball back and they could tie it and go into double overtime. So Scotty Barnes steps up to the line, makes his first free throw, and then...
And he does just that. One more free throw coming. Sixers have a timeout. 0.8 on the clock, so the Sixers will have one last gasp after this. Unless Barnes maybe intentionally misses this, but I don't expect that.
No, he's not going to.
He's going to go for it.
Oh, there he goes.
He does.
So he gets the ball back from the ref, and he shoots before anybody is ready. So Toronto recovers the ball, for lack of a better term. So Philadelphia can't call their timeout. They weren't paying attention at all. They just thought he was going to sink it. But he went ahead, intentionally missed, wins the game for Toronto. That's using your brains, right? And that's what the rule changes come down into the CFL. It's all about understanding what the rules are and how you can use them to your advantage.
I like that. Good
Even a
clutch
football tie-in. Look
Yeah,
at that, right?
I know. Leave it up
you.
to the voice of the Riders. Eh?
I know. There you go.
Colson, what you got?
Yeah, I had one. I didn't catch all of the NFL games this weekend, but if you did catch that not Chargers. Don't catch that game.
No.
But if you caught the Packers and Bears game, first off, shout out to all the cheese shredders out there.
Oh, I love that so much. I just don't know how they got them past security, but that's a whole
Very
other
impressive.
conversation.
Yeah, very impressive there. But also, there is a great pylon shot of the touchdown, fumble, whatever they ended up calling this. And we've got it on the stream right now. But it is just insane camera angle capture.
And the slow-mo on it.
The play itself just kind of like, what?
So who are you throwing the clutch to? The camera or the camera operator?
We can't
the player who recovered the fumble gets one.
Okay, for sure, yeah.
And then I would probably say, the producer who chose to record that specific camera angle so that we have that. Because I don't imagine you're recording it all the time. That's a lot of footage.
Yeah, that's a lot to come through. And by the way, I don't think we can actually dub this award to inanimate objects.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was a rule.
Not on Mondays. Sorry, Colson, go ahead.
My last one, Derek, who texted in earlier, clarified a bit. Co-op number 5 has been handed down 3 generations. That's how he still has it.
No!
His uncle is also number 13. So in that one family, they have number 5 and number 13.
So his uncle is legit the 13th man.
Uh-huh. In whichever co-op they own that membership in. So...
Yeah, because Derek also said, we're kind of a big deal. Yeah, you are a big deal.
Kinda. When you're number 5, absolutely.
Not everyone can be number 1, Dave.
Nope, that's true.
Those are your clutch performers for Nick's service in Emerald Park. Of course, if you want to chime in, join the conversation like Derek did, you absolutely can. The Prairie Land Rentals text line is 306-936-6262. Whatever you need to get the job done, Prairie Land Rentals probably has it. Also, an official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. And yes, we are talking about co-op numbers today, so I would love to hear how many you got there. Roscoe even texted in. His library card was number 1.
That's like close. Almost.
You know what? I'm going to give it to him. That's pretty cool. Way, way, way back in his day, he says.
Was
his
it
library
the
cards.
Kindersley Library? That's what I need to know. Because that's where he's from. So I would assume that's the case. But
he went there opening day, pitched a tent outside.
That's something you wouldn't see very often anymore. The opening day of a public library. I feel like they're pretty much all open already, aren't they?
There might be one here if they get a new central library.
Fair enough.
Isn't that something they've been gunning for?
I feel like that's just a continuation of the old one, though. That's what I'm saying. Like a brand new, this is the first of this town, village, whatever, public library. I feel like that doesn't happen very often anymore. But
yeah, no, that's very true. But if our population keeps booming, I mean, dreams come true, Colson.
I wasn't calling it a dream, but okay.
Well, you never know. Yes, join in the conversation.
You know, this entire library conversation, I feel completely unqualified to speak on.
Yeah.
Explains a lot about me right there. Why I can't talk to library.
You're doing fine for
Thank
yourself. You read a bunch of books on vacation, didn't you?
Jack and Jill went up the hill. No, that wasn't that one.
Spot run.
No, wasn't it? What was it? Dick and Jane. No, let's stop. Let's stop.
Okay, 306-936-6262. By the way, anybody who joins in the conversation, we're going to toss you into the draw for a chance to win some Regina Pats tickets as they host the Swift Current Broncos on Wednesday night for Wiener Wednesday. And if you don't really have much that you want to add or say, or maybe you don't have a question for Darian Durant, who's going to be joining us here in less than half an hour, that's okay. Just text in the word Pats and then your first and last name so we know who we're talking to. And at the end of the show, we're going to make a draw. Someone's going to win those tickets for free. You know what? I think we'll take a quick break here, come back, and then I think Sprinkle of the Day is something that we should take a peek at next, because I'm interested to see if the lines moved at all heading into this Monday night wildcard game. So let's do that. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com. Welcome back to the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. I'm your Monday host, Teagan Witko, with voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas, and Colson Schultz, our producer of the show, keeping us all in check. And now I do want to take a look at the lines for tonight.
All right, let's do it.
Sports Select Sprinkle of the Day. Getting in on more sports action is as easy as just hitting up the website, okay? sportsselect.com. Make your picks, get your QR code, and then lock in your bet by going to your local lotto spot retailer. And if you're going to one of the Sherwood co-ops, don't forget about your co-op number either, okay? Get those bets in. Every bet 100% legal with a chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus, and we want you to play responsibly, okay? We also have future bets. But let's talk about tonight first and foremost. So it looks like the Steelers are the favorites by 3. So pro line, over-under on this one, 38.5. It's in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I wonder what the weather is like in Pittsburgh tonight.
See, and this is something that I can't wait to talk to Darian about. I read something on the weekend that in the NFL, the cold weather teams, right, that host a playoff game against a warm weather team, it's almost an automatic that they get a 4-point head start. And I don't know where the numbers come from or who crunched that number or whether it's true or not, but that's what I read.
Okay.
See, so I do read some things, but I'm just saying that I don't know if that's actually true or not, because Darian, right, always has said that he loves playing in the colder weather. So I don't think that you, like obviously there's statistical averages there and stuff, and when you're talking at 3 points, I don't know. That's all I'm saying, right?
It's +2 right now. It looks like the low in Pittsburgh is -2, so it might be a little chilly.
Fahrenheit or Celsius?
This is Celsius.
Okay.
I know. My whole computer has been converted so nothing Fahrenheit shows up because it hurts my brain.
Wow.
I know it's just like a 30-degree difference, but I'd rather not. But yes, -2 tonight. The Texans might have a little bit of trouble with that, but I don't know. Their defense has just been so solid. 38.5. How do you feel about that over-under?
I think that's high. Like, even though it's going to be a nice game, like a nice weather game, I still think that that's above the average.
I feel like it's going to be a bit of a defensive game, like a defensive battle tonight, so I would also take the under on that, I think.
How do you think our guy, Aaron Rodgers, is going to do?
He's going to choke.
Really?
No, I don't know that for sure. But
I just want him to choke. Fair enough.
I do. I have to. My heart cannot allow me to go for the Steelers, so I'm taking the Texans.
Okay.
Pro line. Let's go. And then, I don't know. What would you do differently?
I think Houston's defense, so you're going to go under. Houston's defense, and then they'll score just enough to win. And they'll cover.
You think it's going to be a tight game like the rest of them were?
Oh, absolutely it will be.
Patriots, Chargers game?
Every game.
Okay.
Every game. Yeah, I agree. Wholeheartedly.
Okay, so you sprinkle a little cash on that. Might make some money. I don't know. If you're taking the dogs, I mean, you're always going to get a better return, right? So that's what I'm going for anyway. Okay. I'm going to disagree with all the Steelers fans. And I know Darian is also going to say, the Steelers. He's going to go Steelers on this one, I think.
No.
I'm predicting it.
You think Darian will?
I think so.
He wasn't sold on Houston's defense when we asked him.
That's why I'm thinking.
That's why okay.
Yeah.
And he's a Mike Tomlin guy.
He is a Mike Tomlin guy. And I do disagree that everybody always goes for the coaches. As soon as things go south, they always go for the coaches and management, and those are the first people. But it's like, I don't know if Tomlin was really the issue.
He got them into the playoffs, didn't
exactly.
he? Yeah. No.
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, after they won last week, or was it this past weekend? Either way, he went up to Rodgers and said, "Thank you for coming."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you kidding? I wouldn't miss it." You know, like he wants to be there, and I think he wants to win that because I think he wants to shut down the haters a little bit too. Myself included.
I'd be curious, is this the last time we'll see Aaron Rodgers on a football field if things go south for Pittsburgh tonight?
I don't think so. I think he led a team to the playoffs that they didn't really expect him to go that far, right?
So do you think that he would go back to Pittsburgh, or you've got somewhere else in mind?
I think it depends on what happens. What do you think? Am I completely off base on this?
I think that this could be it. But I don't, again.
Don't discount anything.
Before he signed with the Jets.
Phillip Rivers came back this season, Dave. Anything can happen.
Miracles can happen.
It can absolutely happen. So you never know. I'm very curious to see. I don't know. Should we dive in a little? That was your sprinkle of the day, by the way. Yeah. We went off on a little bit of a tangent there. You can also take a look at futures. So if you want to bet on, or who's going to win the Super Bowl, maybe you want to take up some NASCAR. Maybe you want to look at the Stanley Cup. You can obviously hit up sportsselect.com for more information on that. But I think since we got started on this conversation, we should talk a little bit about the NFL this past weekend. I know Darian's going to have a little bit more input than I will. But I was just wondering, the standout game for me personally is the Bears win. Like, I feel like that was the one game where I'm like, I'm so happy I watched that one. That Packers-Bears rivalry, 104 years old. Like, it's just, it's a tale as old as time. That was a classic. But what game stood out to you the most?
Because I support the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. I really liked seeing San Francisco come from behind, put together a solid fourth quarter, and once again see the Philadelphia Eagles just seemingly forget how to play football in the second half of football games.
Well, and what's refreshing about that victory is now we officially know we're going to have a new Super Bowl champion this year.
Absolutely, and it's not going to be Philadelphia.
Yes.
But it was a 4-point game, and like, again, I was watching in the first half, and I was losing interest, not because the game was bad or anything, but I just didn't like seeing Philadelphia seemingly be on the path to success. And then San Francisco comes out, they lose their tight end with an Achilles injury, probably be gone. Like, you got to think not coming back. And I thought that's it. San Francisco's done, but they found a way. Brock Purdy, I don't know how he does it, but he found a way and put a smile on my face.
You know how he did it? Think back to that beautiful trick play. Oh my gosh. The Jennings to Christian McCaffrey play?
Yeah.
That was, what was that, early fourth quarter, I think? That was beautiful. Yes. That was a thing, that was a masterpiece.
Yeah, so it was a reverse so it was a fly, so obviously a jet sweep to a reverse. The receiver that took the ball on the reverse went all the way around. For some reason, and I love Tom Brady calling it, like, why is he leaving him? Like, why would you let him run by you? And like, he was just flustered by it all. And so the pass was, again, just inches away from being an overthrow.
Oh, yeah.
It worked out. It was a gutsy call, and it worked out.
It was something. That was, if I were to be a 49ers fan, I would have been freaking out a little bit at that point. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I mean, you have to have trust.
Sky Moore again, little trickery. Who's thrown it before? Going deep with McCaffrey. He's got it.
There it is. If you're watching the stream, Colson just pulled it up for us. Absolutely immaculate. I loved that call. And then there was also what was happening on the other sideline. It kind of felt like the Eagles were falling apart a little bit, and I think it was when I saw Nick Sirianni yelling at A.J. Brown on the sideline.
I don't understand how things, again.
And then Brown didn't do media after the game.
That's
not shocking.
That's different. But
yeah.
All I'm going to say, I don't know how you've fallen from grace so quickly. I was trying to think, okay, so give me another example where a team is at the top of the mountain and then they just disintegrate. And how can everything be coming so unraveled? Was it really that bad in that locker room last year that they just overcame it and won a Super Bowl, or is it question mark? I think fill in the blank.
There will be a lot of conversations in the offseason, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what those conversations look like. There's a reason why I'm not managing a football team. But it did not look pretty on those sidelines. And I get that players will get fired up on the sidelines, especially if they're disagreeing with the play call or something, or we see it all the time in sports. But I don't know. That one just felt a little bit different.
And I would suggest that it's more common for the runners up in any given sport to unravel. For example, look at the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm not talking the past 2 years. I'm talking previous to that. Remember when they had Chris Pronger in the lineup?
Oh, yeah.
And they went all the way to the final, could have won it, but again, just I don't think had the talent to win it then. And then they just absolutely disintegrated. Pronger leaves town and the whole thing implodes. Calgary was pretty much the same thing, right? Calgary makes it to the final, and again, they just haven't been anywhere near since. Vancouver Canucks, they go to Game 7 against Boston, and they're still imploding.
Feels like you're just going to go after every single Canadian team here, Dave.
Well, yeah, sorry. There seems to be a common thread now, don't it?
Yeah, now that you continue talking.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is a fair point, though. I mean, all I know is that was a fun game to watch.
Yes.
And the 49ers took down the Eagles 23-19, which feels great to say. Other than that, what was your next best game? I know you're not going to say Chargers New England, Chargers Patriots. You know what? Actually, I want to save that question for Darian because I want to see what he has to say. But the Monday Nighters, Texans, Steelers, this should be a good game as we talked about in our sprinkle of the day. So Mike Tomlin trying to exercise some demons here with his postseason record, 6 straight losses in playoff games.
Yeah.
Here, we're going to see if it happens because 1991 was the last time Pittsburgh lost a home game on a Monday night. So that's 34 years?
That's a lot of years.
That's a lot of years.
You said 61?
1991.
1991.
Okay. 91. Math isn't your thing
years.
either.
No. 35. I got that one quick.
Yeah. No, I mean, New England Patriots, I don't know who they have a better chance against, the Texans or the Steelers, but I think I know what you're going to say. I think I know what Darian might say, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not about to put words in that guy's mouth.
No.
Even though I did by saying I was predicting he would take the Steelers.
I guess so, yeah. We'll get it from him.
Yeah, we'll get it directly from him after 5 o'clock. And if you do want to ask him anything, by the way, feel free. Send it in. All right. 306-936-6262 is the Prairie Land Rentals text line. So if you got a question for Darian, or if maybe you want to win some Pats tickets for Wednesday night, just text in the word Pats and then your first and last name. Colson's going to make a draw a little bit later on this afternoon, probably right at the end of the show. And then we are also talking, there's been more texts coming in about this than I anticipated. Your co-op number. So remember how we were talking about Derek only having a single co-op number and it's been passed down generation to generation. Yeah. The one thing I didn't think about, he just pointed out to me here, the amount of confusion that it would cause when you go to co-op and get your vehicle filled up on pump number 5.
And you remember number 5?
I feel like this is a Seinfeld episode that would write itself.
Yeah.
The exchange that's happening in my brain, the more and more I think about it, that might actually be, would it be worth it?
Who's on first, what's on second?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We know who's at pump 5, but we want to know your membership number.
What is your co-op number? 5. Or if you're on pump 5 and your number is number 5.
Oh, yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Okay, that aside, anything sports related, we also gladly welcome, please, 306-936-6262. By the way, the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation, 50-50 prize jackpot is guaranteed. $50,000 payout. Also a hot tub up for grabs. An all-inclusive Mexico vacation and a sports trip to Toronto.
Did you hear about that one? That's a cool one. It's a very good one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go see a Jays game, see a Leafs game, or take $7,000 cash. But I'm just saying.
Oh.
But I'd be in.
Okay. What would you take? Leafs game? Jays game?
No, you get to do both games.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you get tickets for both.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure if it's the Jays home opener or not. Because you know that the Leafs aren't going to be playing that far into the spring. Sorry.
Dave, now the text line's going to blow up with everyone getting mad. We're hating on the Leafs. Stop it. Anyway, you could win that sports trip in Toronto. A variety of different ticket packages that you can buy, all the full prize details and where to buy your tickets. One website, riders5050.ca. Bonus prize. Yeah, let's see here. Mexico all-inclusive vacation, round-trip flights to Cancun, 7 nights at Paradisus Playa del Carmen. I'm hoping I'm saying that resort name right. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Looks gorgeous. It's in the Mayan Riviera. Now, that one you can also opt out, take the cash option if you don't want to take a Mexican vacation. What? $6,000 in cash. So, not too bad. The deadline for this, however, is fast approaching. If I'm not mistaken, it's next Friday, January 23rd. Again, math, not my strong suit. So deadline for bonus prize, I should specify, January 23rd at 10 p.m., riders5050.ca. And then, the early bird prize that you were talking about, that, it is a Leafs game and a Blue Jays season opener.
I told you it was.
Yeah, you were right.
Kidding.
I just had to confirm, okay?
Thank you.
I wanted to make sure we're making people mad here.
Don't we have to talk to the president of the Kyle Busch?
Yeah, let's take a break first.
Kyle Busch fan club, I believe.
Kyle Busch fan club. Yes, we got Crofty coming up. Okay, so we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with him. This is the Sports Cage. It's on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Welcome back to the Sports Cage. I'm your Monday host, Teagan Witko, with Dave Thomas and Colson Schultz. Of course, we are streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and live at 620 CKRM. And I would now like to join us on the program. For the first time, I think we're doing this. Crofty, Dan Croft.
Good afternoon.
Well, hey, thanks for taking the time to join us. Of course, from Croft Electric. I understand first thing, right off the bat, you got a bone to pick with Dave.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, right out of the gate, you cut me deep. Kyle Busch? Anybody else in the garage? Anyone?
No
would
way.
Be better than Kyle. Anyone? Funny story. Literally, M&Ms weren't allowed in my house for about three years. When they were his sponsor, I would not allow him in my house.
Wow.
That is dedication.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I like peanut M&Ms. I would throw them out the front door if anybody brought them in the house, though.
See, but he won for me. I was in a pool when I was in Saskatoon, a NASCAR pool that we had, and he won me some money, so I appreciate him.
He's a good driver, but I hate him.
Fair enough. Understood.
Hey, we have a NASCAR pool if you want to join.
Well, I love donating money to as many people as I can, so why not? Hit me up.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for letting me be part of the show going forward for a few months here. This will be fun for a quick minute every week.
Yeah, my understanding is, obviously people are well aware. You join us for the NASCAR report. You got the senior hockey report. Like, you're a big-time sports supporter, so this just kind of makes sense. But, you do also run a business, so maybe tell us a little bit about that, Crofty.
Yeah, for sure. Croft Electric, we've been around for 28 years of continuous service in Regina and area. I grew up in the Lumsden area and parents from Strasbourg, Duval area, so, we're tied to the community. We're local. We're out in those communities as much as we can. But yeah, we're here for all your electrical needs, home, farm, commercial, cottage, whatever you need. We are Generac generator dealers and have a fully trained service tech for that. So, yeah.
Well, and I saw your slogan, do it right, do it once, which thank goodness, because we need people like you around and your staff around, Dan, because holy, I've done some home renovations. That's the one thing I am not willing to try is my own electrical work. Absolutely not.
We try, and I'll tell you what, it is our slogan, and we stand behind it, and if we happen to not do it right the first time, we will come back and fix it. We've been around for, like you said, 28 years, and And we want to keep our name great in this community, in our great city, and in our great province. So
I'm new to this community, as you know, and it's funny because there's a lot of things I'm not allowed to do. Electrical is one.
High up there.
It does not meet the marriage agreement that I signed. But when I was exploring what my options were, the first choice that was given to me over and over and over again was Callcroft Electric. That's got to feel good. And obviously the customers that keep you and have others coming back to you says a lot about your business.
Yeah, beautiful. We love to hear that. We like that people are scared of electricity. That's good that your wife keeps you away from that. And funny, like when you talk about that, we are just rolling out some new programs this year, 2026. We're doing a loyalty program and a preferred customer program that'll be rolling out in the new year, January here. So we're looking forward to signing you up for stuff like that.
So real quick before we let you go here, because I know we got to get to the sports ticker momentarily, Crofty. Who are you taking in the Monday night game? Texans, Steelers? Which side are you on?
I just got back from Texas, so I'm going to take the Texans.
Wow.
Yeah, Crofty knows what's up. I like that.
Yeah, big fan of Texas. I'm not a big NFL guy. I obviously like the Super Bowl and like having a few chicken wings and watching the game, but more of a CFL and NASCAR guy.
Well, we might have to dive into the CFL next week then.
Sounds great.
There you go. An electrical pick from Dan Croft and Croft Electric.
Oh, my goodness.
Electrifying, right?
There you go. Absolutely.
The puns that are going to happen for the next several months.
We're funny. We're funny.
Yeah, absolutely. This segment's always going to be a spark to the program.
Okay. Oh, my gosh. We're getting the wrap-up sign from Colson, boys. If you need electrical work, call Croft Electric, 306-586-1333. Thank you so much, Crofty. We appreciate that as always. Now, let's hit up that sports ticker.
Thank you.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sports, Regina's locally owned one-stop hockey shop. Now with a price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders announcing a pair of signings today. Campbell and Jameer Thurman in the PJHL. Moosomin Steelhawks in Regina to take on the Capitals. In the NHL, you got the Canucks traveling to Montreal to face the Habs. Thatcher Demko, by the way, on the IR for the second time this season. And the Canucks are still looking for their first win of 2026. I know it's early. It's only January 12th.
Like they've blown a fuse.
Dave.
Sorry.
Oilers are in Chicago to take on Bedard. And the Blackhawks, thank you for agreeing with me, Colson. Leafs are on the road looking for their fourth straight win in Colorado, so it's a tough test as they face the Avs in the NFL. You just heard us mention it. Texans are in Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. In the NBA, the Raptors taking on the 76ers, hopefully using brains, not brawn. And curling. Provincial Curling Championships wrapped in Melville. On the men's side, Team Knapp will be representing Saskatchewan at the Brier, and on the women's side, Team Campbell will represent Saskatchewan at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. And just for what it's worth, I wanted to quickly mention here, Kadeem Carey is returning to Toronto. Just quickly going back to the CFL, you might remember he got that not pretty injury in week 6 as the Riders were in BC facing the Lions. But he is not returning to the team he won a Grey Cup with, the 111th Grey Cup. He's actually returning as a running back coach.
There you go.
Which makes some sense. And there's not been an official announcement as to whether or not, he's fully retiring from playing, but that's what he's going to be doing for the next season. So
there you go.
For what it's worth, that is the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport. Appreciate you taking the time to join us. I'm your Monday host, Teagan Witko, joined by voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mr. Dave Thomas, and of course, producer Colson. Keeping us on the air, keeping us on the stream, doing the hard work over there. I legitimately actually doing the hard work over there. Yeah. If you want to text us at any time, you got a question for a guest, you want to win some Pats tickets, whatever it might be, Prairie Land Rentals text line is 306-936-6262. But not to keep our next guest waiting. Let's head out on that Western Pizza guest hotline.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. At Campbell Safety Consulting, we work towards helping companies create a competitive edge by executing a proactive health and safety program.
Well, good afternoon, Darian. We have been having the most outlandish conversation today about co-op numbers. Did you have one when you were living here in Saskatchewan? Do you remember it?
I'm not too familiar with that, I don't think. What exactly is it?
It's a way to get back equity with co-op. So you have a number anytime that you go into a co-op store, and then, it tallies up how much you...
Yeah, we use it here, so every time that we went and bought a box of Darios, then when we'd get like a couple of cents back, it was awesome.
Yeah, actually, then we still have the Darios up on the shelf here.
Well, they're not worth anything, so I'm not worried about it.
I mean, next time you're in town, you can try one if you want.
Hey, it sounds interesting. I'll definitely look into it.
He's like,
that's like there's not a chance.
Not a hope in hell. Yeah. But Darian, there's lots to talk about here in Rider Nation. Appreciate this as always. We got to start right off the top. News this morning comes through. Everyone's excited. I bet you've got to be a little excited because you kind of called this a couple weeks back when I asked you who should the Riders focus on signing next, and you said Tevon Campbell. Well, they did that today.
Absolutely. I felt like this was the number one priority defensively, is to get him back in the fold. I mean, top of the league in interceptions. He's a veteran guy, and you need these type of corners in this league, man. It's hard for young guys to come in and have that type of success at corner. You have to read routes. It's extra receivers. There's waggles. There's different things that you have to get used to as a new guy. And Tevon's seen it all. He's such a wily vet. He knows exactly what's going on, and you have to have that kind of security at corner in order to have success. So big signing for the Riders and J.O. getting him back in the fold.
And I don't know if J.O. was listening to the show or not, because you were talking about focusing on the defensive side of the ball. They also signed Jameer Thurman today.
Oh, yeah, he's the rock. He has shown each and every year what he can do. He's the leader of that defense. He doesn't seem to be aging at all. And if you just look at his physique, he just seems to take care of himself and care about each and every game, each and every day that he prepares. So definitely another great signing for the squad. And, look, man, when you're trying to repeat, you want to keep as many pieces of the puzzle together as possible. And J.O.'s doing a good job of that so far.
Now, if my math is correct, and I've already been called on it today, Darian, so maybe we won't trust this, but you and Tevon Campbell crossed paths in your playing days, as he was with Calgary, of course, and you played against him, but then he joined you in Montreal. Like, is it surprising to you that he's still going?
Not at all. I mean, I think I've said it maybe a couple months ago. You're a 4.3. If you have that type of speed in the 40 when you're coming out, then, the worst you're at right now in your early 30s is a 4.4, which is still pretty much one of the faster DBs in the league. So for a guy to be able to run like that is very rare. And, if he could keep taking care of his body, I see Eddie Davis type longevity. You're talking about 15, 16, 17-year career because, he has that type of twitch, and he can pick him up and put him down, as we used to say. And he's just one of those guys that can run, and you can't teach that.
When you are teaching or maybe reteaching a game, like, he assimilated himself, I thought, immediately to the Canadian Football League game. Is that just speak to his athleticism? Does that speak to the position that he plays? Like, how difficult of a transition is it from the NFL back to the CFL at that spot?
Well, I think it was kind of like a homecoming for him. I mean, this is the game. The Canadian football game is the game he grew up playing. Initially out of U of R, he came right into the CFL. So this is home for him. I think his athletic ability is what allowed him to go to the NFL and have success. Like I said, man, you don't find a lot of 4.3 guys who can run. And, the teams down south, they saw that. And that's why he stuck around for so long. And now that he's back home, as I like to say, you add that with a little bit of wisdom. Now he's an older guy. He's a vet. He has the experience. He's seen it all. So you match that athletic ability with his learning ability and his ability to pick up the game. Now you have one hell of a player.
Marcus Sales will also be back at corner because he signed a 2-year deal heading into this last offseason. So one of the things that Luke pointed out to me was so rare at least the start of the season, and really when both of them were healthy and on the field, was that they wouldn't flip strong side, weak side. How much versatility does that add to a defense? And is you as a quarterback not having to really see what side of the field they're going to be on, knowing that one or the other is going to be maybe where you're looking?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I used to wonder why guys would flip-flop and go against some of their strengths. Some guys are stronger at one side of the field than the other, and I think that with the rule changes and the hashes being brought closer together, it allows some of these DBs to kind of find a home, be comfortable on a side, pick a side, and you can get comfortable, and it makes it harder for these quarterbacks and receivers to kind of get a beat on what you're doing. So having two guys like Sales and Campbell at your corners, these are the staples of your defense. They're going to go against some of the tougher receivers. And, you need two veteran guys at that. It's so good to have in that defensive secondary.
So when you look at the secondary, I guess if you're going to pick apart or dissect the Saskatchewan Roughriders secondary, having those two corners locked up, is that the biggest pieces that you needed to have? And then you can find your safety. Then you can figure out what you're going to do at halfback?
Well, I think so. I mean, a lot of when you see the younger guys come in, they tend to have a little bit more success at the halfback position. They're a little more energetic. They have that type of foot speed that you need at that position. So that's where you see the younger guys transition a little bit easier. I kind of want to see CJ Rivas back playing safety. I think his transition to safety later on in the season last year was huge for the secondary. He's the signal caller back there. He was able to get guys in position, and I think that he was kind of at his natural position. That's not to say he's not a good dime back or a halfback, but I think naturally his position is at safety, and he showed that last year.
If you're looking over your center and you see Jameer Thurman in the middle of the Saskatchewan Roughriders defense, what are you thinking?
He's a rock. He's a rock, man. It's going to be a long day. I used to hate to see those physical linebackers, guys who could stuff the run and be able to hop back in the pass, because then you knew that it was going to be a chess match, right? But if you know you're going against one of those lighter linebackers that has trouble stopping the run, then you kind of know that your running back is going to have a good day. That's not one of his strengths. But with Jameer, man, he can do it all. And like I said, he just takes care of his body, and there's no slowing down for him. So the huge addition for the Riders, getting him back in the fold. And now you have the leader of your defense back.
You said it, leader. There's no metrics to define leadership. But what does that mean? Because, again, to me, from the outside looking in, when Jameer says something or does something, it's like, okay, now follow me.
Absolutely. And he's one of those guys that leads by example. And I want to knock on a little bit of wood before I say this, and I hope I don't jinx anyone, but, he's always available. He plays each and every week. I think the guys see that it's a guy that's always there. And he's not just talking. He does exactly what he says. He takes care of his body. He's available each and every week. And most importantly, he goes out there and he produces. His production is not falling off, and he seems to be getting stronger. So if I'm a center looking across from him, I know it's going to be a long day, and I have to get my hard hat ready, because he can do it all.
Darian, as we're talking about leaders on a team and leadership, now obviously the recent announcement of the coaching staff did include a different position title under Joshua Bell's name, defensive coordinator. And we see head coach Corey Mace take a bit of a step back because he was holding both roles, in the 2025 season. What does that say, I guess, about the confidence that this organization has in Joshua Bell, and what do you see him bring to the table?
I think this is a great move for Coach Mace and Josh. I mean, Josh has paid his dues. I think, when you look at head coaches, one thing that's a telltale sign of how successful they are is the guys they bring up under them, right? I mean, you see with Dinwiddie and Coach Mace and different coaches around the league, they go and they find all these other jobs. You want a successful head coach that'll bring up guys, put them in coordinator positions, and then that allows them to kind of venture off and find a head coaching job and a home somewhere else. So, I mean, Coach Mace, he's not being selfish. He's showing that he's a guy that doesn't mind uplifting guys and putting them in positions to be successful. Look, you can't keep a coaching staff together forever, especially if you're successful and Coach Mace shows that he's not going to sit there and hold the guy back and keep him as a position coach. He's going to uplift him, put him at a coordinator position, and see if he can thrive in that position, because he knows that if he does that, then a head coaching job awaits him, down the line. So, man, this is just, I love to see this from Coach Mace, and I know that he'll continue to do this for his coaching staff.
So today at the winter meetings, Coach Mace, when asked about defensive coordinator Josh Bell, he said that the defense is going to have the same recipe, but there might be some different ingredients when it comes to Josh Bell running it. What does that exactly mean?
Well, I think for one, Coach Mace may be a little bit more conservative than Josh. I mean, Josh, even as a player and our battles going against each other, he was kind of a wild card, right? He loved to disguise. He loved to fly around, make plays, do different things of that nature. So, like Coach May said, I think the base will be there and the foundation will be there, but Josh will definitely bring some wrinkles. It'll be some experiments going on there, and for the good, of course, because I think he's a bright young defensive mind. But I think you'll see some exotic looks from this defense and some things you didn't see last year, and I think it'll be fun to see.
I'm not going to say Coach Mace is just going to go ahead and clear the table, right? Say, defense is all
you
yours.
won't see that. No. Coach Mace will definitely have his hand in the defensive game plan. He'll definitely get on that headset during the game, and if he sees some things he doesn't like going on down there, he'll buzz in for sure. So Coach Mace will have his hand in everything that defense does.
But that is that is natural, right? Like, you would still have a hand in the game plan, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, especially when you're, it's a first-year defensive coordinator, right? So you've brought him along over the past couple of years as a position. He now sees, a pattern of things, how you like to call plays, what you like to do in the fourth quarter. How do you call plays with a certain personnel on the field? So Josh is still learning the ins and outs and the things that Coach Mace had to learn under Ryan Dinwiddie. So I think that Coach Mace just promoting him is just giving him, first of all, that cosign that, okay, now you're the guy. Now I'm giving you a little bit more responsibility. And as time goes on, I think he'll give him more freedom and allow him to kind of do his thing. But at first, Coach Mace is going to be right there, hands-on.
How do you know when it comes to the internal promotion? You talked about it. Coach Mace has talked about it. I trust Joshua Bell implicitly. If you look at the promotion of offensive coordinator in Winnipeg last year, it didn't go well. How, as a coach, do you know that it's going to go well? Or is it just you're putting your faith and your trust in what you see, I guess?
I think it's all about how you kind of raise your coaches. Coach Mace has brought Josh up over the past couple of years to put him in this position. I mean, Coach Mace had to make sure that he had the success as a defensive coordinator first, because he's the head coach too, right? He's playing dual roles. So he wanted to make sure that he did what he needed to do, which was win the Grey Cup, show that he could be and have the top defense in the league. Now, once you secure that, now you can start bringing some guys up, showing them the ropes. And, you can just tell over the years how close him and Josh have gotten. And, behind the scenes, I'm sure Josh is in there every single morning in meetings with Coach Mace, bringing ideas of what he wants to do with the DB. So I think you see over time a guy's work ethic behind the scenes, and then that lets you know one day if he'll be ready.
Now, from a player's perspective, promoting someone within on your coaching staff versus bringing in a brand new fresh face, what would be the benefit of that? I mean, continuity is kind of the word in this offseason for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So what are some of the benefits from your standpoint?
I mean, I think continuity is very important, and it's key in how things progress. But I think it's a learning curve. I think if you bring in a guy who knows the system, who you don't have to teach the system to, and as a player, he can now transfer that knowledge over to the players. It makes it so much easier. And not only that, if the players were teammates with this now position coach, now they take in everything in a different manner. And you respect the guy you play with more. And I hate to say it like this, but as players, you kind of respect guys who played the game a little bit more, especially if they were your teammate, right? So, you speak on Micah Johnson and his transition over to the coaching side of things. It's the entire D-line will respect him. He was still playing at a high level when he retired. He's a Grey Cup champion. He's a future Hall of Famer. So when guys see that, now you don't have to learn from a new coach, and it's easier when it comes to camp to just go out there and play.
I had an interesting conversation this year with Coach Bell, and it was very early on when the Riders were giving up about an average of 400 passing yards per game, right? And I was kind of looking for him to say, don't worry, everything is going to be all right. But he actually said, he goes, you know what? I'm talking with Marcus Sales. I'm talking with Teagan Campbell, whether it's at the facility, whether it's not at the facility, but they're also talking with me and we're sharing ideas. And he talked about that open flow. And is that a normal thing where a coach... Again, I would assume that a coach it's my way or the highway, but is it normal to get that input?
Well, it's becoming a lot more normal now because now you see former players and guys who've played at a high level transition over to coaching. So they know, right? They've been in the game. They've been through tough times. They've been in situations where they've been last in the league in passing yards given up. So that a guy who's played, especially Josh Bell, nothing he hasn't been through, right? So he knows that it's a long season. Stay steady. Keep doing what you're doing. Things will turn over if you just, stay the course. And that's what's great about having a former player as your position coach.
So you say now, when you were playing, did you have input in game plan and coaching and that kind of thing? Or did it depend on the coordinator maybe?
Well, one, it depends on the coordinator. Two, it depends on, your the length of time you've been in the league and your understanding of the league. Early on with Coach Lapo and Coach Miller, I didn't have a lot of freedom, but they also allowed me to come in meetings and give my input on things that I liked. But as time progressed and I got under Coach Cortez, I was more of a vet. I was in my early 30s. I had a lot more freedom at that time. So it really just depends on where you are in your career as a quarterback, who your coach is, and if they have the trust and faith in you to be able to change things up and, be able to do more so what you're comfortable with more so than them.
CFL Winter Meetings are on there talking about rules and the changes that are going on. The one that is being talked about perhaps the most is the difference in the play clock and the 35 seconds now from end of one play to the start of the next. In your head, how much of a cadence would you get into when it was 20 seconds, for example, or how often are you even looking at that play clock countdown? Is again, that's getting a lot of attention right now.
Well, the 20-second play clock goes fast, I tell you that. And, it's always something you have to keep in the back of your mind, or in the front of your mind, let me say that, because, it happens so fast. But now I think that with the 35-second clock starting after the end of each play, now you can get your substitutions in quickly. You can go ahead and talk to Nader. You have extra time to communicate to the sidelines about the things that they're looking for and how you want to execute the next play. So I kind of like the idea, honestly. I think that you don't have to rush. You can get in the huddle. You can talk to guys. You can make sure that you communicate as much as possible. Now, with that being said, these diva wide receivers and all the celebrating at the first downs and, all the hand gestures and all these things. Now, guys are going to have to get back to the huddle so we can get the next play going because there's not much time for celebration.
So I do just...
I have this feeling that Chris Getzlaff is calling us right now.
It's okay. The light doesn't work on the phone in here right now. It's fine. Just going back to the winter meetings, there was a question that came up regarding receivers and the roster that they're shaping in this offseason. Now, Dante Myers, what a story. What an incredible story for him now pursuing an NFL opportunity with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I guess I'm just curious, what do you think the Bengals saw in Dante Myers that made him stand out from the rest? What makes him so special?
Just a playmaker, man. He's smooth. I think, in order to be a successful receiver in the NFL, you have to be smooth. You have to be a quick twitch guy, and you have to be a route runner. And I think he's all of those things. He had immediate success in the CFL. He was able to pick up a system and go out there and perform and perform at full speed. A lot of guys come in and they can't perform at a high level because they're thinking too much, right? They're thinking about the playbook if they're going to be in the right spot. But he showed that he's a smart receiver. He's intelligent. He knows where the holes are in zones, and he knows how to get open against man coverage. So he pretty much has everything you would want. I'm not too sure, if his size will be a problem. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how that goes for him. But other than that, man, he's a playmaker. He's a smooth receiver. And, I think he'll go down there and have some success against, especially against Cincinnati. They don't have the best DBs in camp, so should have some success.
I just don't want him to get hurt there, okay, Darian?
No, don't think like that. I mean, he'll be fine. Look, he'll be fine. I'm sure this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him, and he'll definitely prepare his body for this.
Obviously, it's a job, right? It's a career, it's a profession. Obviously, dollars and cents go into making that decision. What other things would him and his representation have considered when signing with Cincinnati over whatever other offer might have been out there?
Well, I'm sure he's looking at the depth behind, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, which is pretty much none. I mean, I don't know if they have a solid number 3 receiver. Dante's a slot guy. He's used to playing in the slot, especially in the CFL. He knows about space. It just seems like a good opportunity for him. Like I said, who else does Cincinnati have on their roster for him to really compete with? He has a great opportunity to go in there and early on and get some reps with the second and third team. And, should be a good opportunity for him.
Okay, so last week, Darian, the CFL Players Association came out with the 2025 report card. Now, this is only the second year that they've done this, right? So it's still pretty new. It's still pretty fresh. Now, we did see some teams pick up the slack a little bit. I'm looking at you, Edmonton. But the Riders overall fared decently well. Like, they got a B+ on this. But when you look at these report cards, they grade everything from therapy and medical staff, facilities, family treatment, strength and conditioning, nutrition, travel, training camp, football ops. What do you think the most important grade is on this report card that we should be looking at?
Oh, wow. I mean, I would think, facilities, I guess I'm coming from old Mosaic, so wasn't really spoiled in that area. Yeah, let me look at this. I think one is football operations. You definitely want to be with a stat and, a GM, an assistant GM that has interest in mind, not guys who will cut you right before you go out to the field for practice or let you wake up. And, you don't want to be with the front office like that. And then I would look at fan base. I mean, you don't want to play in front of an empty stadium. You want to make sure the fans can have an impact on the game. So I guess the top 2 for me would be the front office and the fan base. And then if you can get those 2 in line, then once you get the players around you, then, it seems like those are that's the foundation to having a good organization.
Looking at their overall grades, again, B+ overall. The lowest grade the Riders had was a C, and that was treatment of families. Back in the day, did you guys have like a little waiting room for, the family members and friends to converge in? What was that like at Taylor Field?
No, that was pretty much non-existent. I mean, of course, your family and your kids, wife and kids were able to come down to the field. But as far as having a waiting area for them and, some food and drinks waiting, it was none of that. So, maybe that's something, J.O. and the staff and Craig can look at that and see that may be an area that they can upgrade. But other than that, I mean, the Rider organization is just top notch. And, if all you have to upgrade is a little bit of family interaction and things like that, then, you don't have much to do.
And look, I'm not trying to throw management under the bus here, but if you think back to your playing days, is there anything that would have warranted something lower than a C on a report card? Based on that list, anything that stands out?
You have facilities, right? You have, strength and conditioning facilities. And I mean, that's the main thing. We all know that, with that stadium, how challenged it was. And, now it's just state of the art, right? They have cold and hot tubs inside the training room and all this good stuff. So, I mean, look, that's what happens, as you win and you improve, and over time you get new facilities. So, I'm just happy I could be a part of the progression in order to get over to the new Mosaic Stadium.
NFL Wildcard Weekend wraps up tonight. I read something this weekend, and it was from a statistical look back at warm weather / cold weather teams. I know you've said, Darian, on record that you don't mind playing in the cold, but this finding was that cold weather teams had an automatic 4-point advantage when hosting a warm weather team, air quotes, in the playoffs. Agree or disagree that it's 4 points?
I agree. I mean, if you're coming from the South where it's warm all the time, you're practicing outside and it's warm, and then you have to go to where it's, below zero, it's freezing, it's windy. I mean, you're just not ready for that. Your body's not ready for that. There's nothing you can do in a day or two to get acclimated to that type of weather. I enjoyed being in the cold because I got adjusted to it. We practice in it every day. It's something that you got used to. But and when you look at tonight or, the Miami Dolphins, the history of them going up and winning playoff games in the cold, they've probably won none in my lifetime. But, and speaking about tonight with Houston doing the same thing, I mean, it's just tough. It's tough, man. So like I said, 2 days is not enough time to get your body acclimated to cold weather. And I think that's why that 4-point spread is there.
Okay, so I predicted what you would pick earlier. Who are you taking tonight? The Texans or the Steelers?
I'm going with old man Rodgers.
I knew it.
Yes, I am.
I knew it.
I still think he's got a little bit left in the tank, man. And I'm all for us old guys with a little bit of grays getting out there trying to get it done. So let's go Steelers.
Okay, so here was another question that Dave actually tossed out to me earlier. Do you think this is potentially it for Aaron Rodgers this season?
I don't know. I think it depends on how this game ends tonight. If they win and they can make a nice run in the playoffs, being that they don't have a backup, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, it's such a first-class organization. They can talk him into coming back and mentoring a young guy. I think that can happen if they have some success in the playoffs. So I really think we'll see. Now, if he goes out there tonight against Houston, who has the number one defense, and he gets beat up, you see the nosebleed again and all these other things that happened to him this season, and he takes some big shots, then I think he'll hang it up. So we'll see how it goes.
See, I remember somebody saying that Houston had the number one defense on paper. Do you still think that? Or are there better defenses out there? But
I don't know, man. You know what? I'm just not convinced about the AFC South, right? I mean, you saw what happened to Jacksonville. Indianapolis broke down at the end of the season and couldn't even make the playoffs after starting 8-2, I think. And then Tennessee was just garbage all season. So I don't know, how impressive this number one defensive stat is when your division is not that strong, in my opinion. So, this will be I'll get a great look at them tonight. I'll be able to break them down and see who they really are. And then maybe next week I can have a better answer for you.
Any other games in the wild card weekend that stood out to you? Is there one game that really stands out above the rest? I mean, my pick was Packers-Bears. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
What do you think?
If I had to choose one, it would definitely be Packers-Bears. And the fourth quarter comeback by Caleb Williams and the Bears, and Ben Johnson being my old teammate. Of course, I support the Bears 100%. But I'm just impressed by what Buffalo did in Jacksonville. I mean, Josh Allen showed that no matter how much time is on the clock, you still have a chance to win as long as he's your guy. And to go down there now, that was a northern team going to the south. And changing climate and getting it done, which is not easy as well. So I'm very impressed by Buffalo as well as Chicago.
Being a staunch Cowboys supporter like you, I was very much happy that the Philadelphia Eagles continued to show that they forget how to play football in the second half. But why the heck are they forgetting how to play football in the second half?
You know what, man? I just think it's coaching, honestly. I think you can just see the creativity that comes with San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan, knowing how to get Christian McCaffrey the ball in different positions and using his talents to their advantage. And then you look at Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown and these guys. Philadelphia has just as much talent, but they just seem so vanilla offensively. So I just think it's a big difference in coaching and schematically how Kyle Shanahan is just drawing up things to get his guys open while Philadelphia is just vanilla. So I think that's the biggest difference.
I remember for years, the criticism used to be, they don't make any second half adjustments. How many second half adjustments can you make, or was there a lack of that in the Philadelphia Eagles this season?
Yeah, it's just a lack of it, man. Lack of adjustments, a lack of creativity, and then there are some disgruntled players in that locker room. So you combine all of those things together, it's a recipe for a first-round exit, and that's exactly what you saw.
So tell me A.J. Brown without saying A.J. Brown.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't say it. You did.
Yeah.
And we're both heartbroken because of it. We can see.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's definitely a lot of creativity when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers. Dave and I were actually just talking about that beauty trick play where Jennings threw the ball to McCaffrey in the end zone. That, whew.
Yep. Yeah, that just shows you. I mean, that's coaching. I mean, you find aggressive defenses. You find different ways to get your guys the ball. I mean, you can't tell me that Saquon Barkley doesn't have the type of talent that Christian McCaffrey has. It's just that Kyle Shanahan knows how to get his guys the ball and put them in space and make sure that he's the focal point of the offense. So it's all about coaching.
Okay, Darian Durant question. Obviously, you practice trick plays, and I don't know what percentage you'd ever get to use, but was there ever a trick play that you wished could have just been called once that you thought would have blown everybody's doors off?
Oh, my gosh.
It's a good one.
You know what? There was a trick play that was called, and that Weston Dressler, it was like a reverse pass where the quarterback kind of goes out the other side of the field. And all I told Weston all week was just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. Even if I'm covered, give me a chance. We were in Edmonton and Commonwealth, and George Cortez called the reverse pass. And Weston threw it up to me. I was covered a little bit. He gave me a chance. And I was just so unathletic at the time. I couldn't jump. I couldn't get off the ground. Ball just went so far over my head, and I thought it was a great throw. So I'm more disappointed in him calling the play and giving me an opportunity, and me not being able to make a play more so than not calling it at all. So I'm just mad. I didn't make it happen, and I'll never forget that. Never.
Way to bring it up, Dave.
Well, I was gonna in practice. How many times did you connect?
Every time. But that's just how it is, man. In practice, it's easy, right? And then you get in the game, something always goes wrong.
Well, Darian, I think we probably got to let you go here. We're running a bit short on time, but as always, we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us every Monday here. So we're going to have to see what happens tonight and next weekend and talk some more football next week.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. All
right. Thank you, Darian Durant. Every single week, you can look forward to seeing him on the Sports Cage at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and of course on 620 CKRM. That is Double Talk with Darian Durant, brought to you by Campbell's Safety Consulting, who is joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. It's the pizza known worldwide for a reason, loaded with toppings of Western Canadian ingredients. And yes, it is always cooked to perfection. And the hot dogs will be cooked to perfection at the Pats game on Wednesday. See that segue? Your dad jokes are rubbing off on me.
There you go.
Anyway, if you want to go on Wednesday, Swift Current Broncos are in town to face your Regina Pats. We have a pair of tickets to give away at the end of the show here today, and we're keeping it easy. You just have to shoot us a message on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, okay? 306-936-6262. Send in the word Pats, your name, and we'll put you in the draw. It's that easy. Now, still to come, let me see. Here we got your sports ticker on the horizon, plus Pats Chat with Regina Pats forward Caden Brown. Hang tight for that. This is the Sports Cage on the home of your Regina Pats. Streaming, as well as on your radio at 620 CKRM and sportscage.com. It is the sports ticker. The Saskatchewan Roughriders actually signed a pair of players today on the defensive side of the ball. Devon Campbell, contract extension. Same goes with Jameer Thurman. In the PJHL, the Moosomin Steelhawks are in Regina taking on the Capitals. In the NHL, Vancouver Canucks travel to Montreal to face the Habs. And of course, Thatcher Demko placed on injured reserve for the second time this season. Oilers in Chicago to take on Bedard and the Blackhawks. The Leafs are on the road, and they are looking for another W. They're on a little bit of a tear anyway, but they also have a tough test ahead of them in the Colorado Avalanche on the road. Houston Texans in Pittsburgh tonight taking on the Steelers, the final game of the wild card week. I was going to say wild card weekend. It's a week. Today's a Monday. In the NBA, the Raptors taking on the 76ers in curling. Just yesterday, the Provincial Curling Championships wrapped in Melville. So on the men's side, Team Knapp took it. They will represent Team Canada at the Briar. On the women's side, that was Team Campbell who emerged victorious and representing Saskatchewan at the Scotties at the end of this month. And that is a look at your sports ticker for Steel Craft Doors. A reminder, you can join in the conversation anytime. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. And coming up in 60 seconds, Patch Chat. This is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Yes, welcome to the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. It is brought to you by Kelm Solar. So make sure you check out Keln Solar. And you know what? We're just going to jump right into our next segment here because we don't want to keep them waiting any longer. We went a bit long there with Darian, Dave. It's hard to not do that sometimes, okay? There's a lot happening in the football world and with the Riders, but right now, we got to shift gears to hockey, okay? It is time for Pat's Chat here on the Sports Cage. And joining us next, Regina Pat forward Caden Brown. Caden, first of all, thanks for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
So, Caden, I just want to dive right in. It was announced on New Year's Eve, one heck of a way to cap off 2025, but you recently committed to Lindenwood University for the 26-27 season. Congratulations, and walk us through that decision-making process.
Yeah, thank you. It's kind of a long process through the last year and a bit since the CHL has opened up to go over to the NCAA. You're kind of talking with teams and kind of trying to feel your way through it. And for me personally, it was a lot of learning. It wasn't ever an option or something that I thought I needed to be looking into and weighing as one of my options moving forward until last year. So for me, it was a lot of learning about what it's about and what I need to be eligible to go. And it was a fun process though, and ultimately I landed on going to Lindenwood, and I'm super excited about it.
I was watching on YouTube today a very young Caden Brown talking to the Prince George Cougars after he was drafted from the Bantam draft. Are there any similarities between that Bantam draft process? Of course, you're meeting with teams, you're talking to people throughout, trying to get an opportunity in the Western Hockey League. Any similarity between that and then going to the NCAA and that process?
I mean, yeah, the process of talking to teams is similar, but in the end, it's a lot different because you don't get to choose where you go in a draft, and for picking your school, it's all up to you. And obviously, a team has to offer you and want you, but you get to choose where you want to go. So, there's some similarities from the way teams talk to you and want to get to know you, but at the end of the day, it's all up to you. So
what stood out about Lindenwood University? What did you like about it?
Yeah, I think it's a really underrated spot. It's more of a newer program, and it's got the people and the resources to become a top-notch program. And they've done well this year. They've beat some good teams, and I think that over the next 4 years while I'm there, we're going to build it into something special. And I think that ultimately the opportunity there is another big thing that kind of pushed me in that direction. But yeah, I'm super excited.
Is it a stressful time when you're making that decision? Obviously, you've gone ahead and already talked about just some of the factors that weighed in.
Yeah, I mean, it's stressful. You want to make sure you make the right decision, and for you and for your family. And it's definitely a little stressful for sure.
Well, now that that's behind you, you can obviously focus your attention on the Regina Pats, who are playing some pretty good hockey. A couple of big wins on the weekend. What's going right?
I think we're getting our confidence back. We went on a bit of a streak there of not doing so well, and just like it would with anyone, I think it hurt our confidence. And as one of the leaders on the team, I think we're just trying to get our confidence back and realize who we are as a team and what we need to do to be successful. And I think we did a great job this weekend from the top to the bottom, and ultimately we got 2 wins out of it.
Confidence is what your general manager showed in you and the rest of the team by not making any moves at the trade deadline, saying that I have confidence in these guys to get us to where we want to go, which is making the playoffs. What does that say to the team, whether it actually is said out loud or not?
Yeah, I mean, when you go into the trade deadline and don't make any moves and you say you're confident, the general manager is confident in the team he has to make the playoffs, and ultimately it feels good for the guys in the room, and to have that someone like that have a sense of confidence in you to take his team to the playoffs. So I think that probably did factor into us playing better this weekend and playing with more confidence. And
You're an older guy, lots of offensive upside. You were taken 17th overall. Obviously, people in the Western Hockey League know you. And we were talking with Curtis Hunt, the general manager of the Prince Albert Raiders, prior to the trade deadline, and he says, I'm the least liked guy in the entire rink. I don't want to see anyone. Were you avoiding Dale Durkach at all last week before that deadline? Was anything going through your mind personally?
No, I wouldn't say I was avoiding him. Maybe trying to stay out of his way a little bit. They're busy guys at that time of the year, and you just want to let them do their jobs. So, yeah.
Your coaches quite often in post-game interviews talking about doing things the right way and meeting the Regina Pats standard and then doing it consistently. How difficult is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think hockey is a game of confidence, like I mentioned, and consistency. And if you're not consistent, you're gonna struggle. And at times this year, I think that's been part of our problem. And right now, this weekend, things were going good, and now the job or the task at hand is maintaining that confidence and being consistent with it, so we can roll into the rest of the year and get some wins and make the playoffs.
So you did have some injury, when it comes to your goaltenders. Taylor Tabashanuk is now back. So how does it feel to have that consistency in the net?
Yeah, I was super happy for him. He got his first game back this weekend and won. He was super excited and happy, and I couldn't be happier for him. That was a tough watch to see him go down, but the work that he put in around the rink, he did it quietly, but I think guys noticed the work he put in, and I'm super proud of him and happy for him that things are going well again, and hopefully he can stay healthy and win some games for us.
Now, as you look ahead to this week, of course, a couple of home games here, but first things first, I know, one game at a time. Wednesday night, Swift Current Broncos. What are the conversations looking like to, get ready for this provincial rival?
I think we're just trying to focus on us. I think we're trying to realize what we did this weekend, what we did that made us successful, and try to replicate that. Like you said, consistency is a big factor. And if we can be consistent in what we did this past weekend to get those couple of wins, I think that we'll like where it goes.
Now, it is Wiener Wednesday on Wednesday night.
What a segue.
Well, I'm just curious, what's Caden Brown putting on a hot dog? What's the recommendation?
Usually just ketchup. That's it. Or if there's onions, baby onions as well.
Cheese?
No, not cheese.
What? Chili?
I don't know if I've ever tried chili.
Chili cheese dog? You haven't had one?
Don't think so, no.
Caden, you got to live a little.
Wow. I'm going to ask this question without qualifying it for our listeners and folks that are watching on the stream at sportscage.com. You're going to understand, I'm sure, right away after I ask the question, and I'll allow you to explain. But let's face it, there is a heated rivalry between the Regina Pats and the Moose Jaw Warriors that you, Caden Brown, might see a little bit differently. How does the rivalry work in your world? And explain.
Yeah, I think that anytime you're playing a team that's just 45 minutes to an hour down the road, you're going to play them lots, and things are going to boil over sometimes. But yeah, it's fun going to play those guys. And
but isn't there
I find those games fun.
On the roster that you know quite well?
Yeah, my cousin is on Moose Jaw, yeah.
So there you go. So explain to the class who your cousin is and how the rivalry works in your world.
Oh, yeah, Ethan Semenuk, he's my cousin. And yeah, I mean, we grew up 20-second walk down the street from each other. So I probably spent more time with him than anyone else on this planet. So yeah, it's pretty cool going in there. And I like to win against him, so yeah, those games are fun.
I would imagine the trash talk over text prior to games is probably quite entertaining, but we won't ask you to divulge us in that.
You know,
usually just after.
And it's interesting, the journey that the two of you had, right? You grow up, like you said, 20 seconds away from each other in British Columbia. You start with Prince George. He starts with Vancouver. You make your way through the Western Hockey League, ending up in Saskatchewan. And the one photo that's on the internet that is sensational, again, it's a young photo of you and him along with your grandfather. So what has that meant, kind of going through the trades and the WHL seasons together, but also having that family connection, and maybe who do they cheer for?
I think when my grandfather comes to games, he wears a different hat and a different jersey, and he mixes it up. And he's been calling me every couple of days. He's super excited to come watch. We have a home and home with them coming up here pretty soon. He's coming to that. So, he doesn't pick one team, but he's definitely on us all the time, make sure we're doing our best, and he follows pretty closely.
And do you guys talk a lot between the two of you? Not your grandfather, but talking about Ethan and Moose Jaw. Do you guys talk, not even in season, but even off season?
Yeah, I'd say we talk a fair amount, as much as you can when we don't obviously play together anymore or live in the same city anymore. But we text and keep each other updated on our lives for sure.
Well, I'm sure not only is your cousin, but your grandpa and the rest of your family very proud of you for taking this next step. Oh, and look at that. If you're watching the stream, there's the photo that Dave is referencing. That's great. What a find.
Well,
Dave's an internet sleuth here.
I was in CFL meetings all day. Sorry, I didn't say that. But Caden, one quick one. I know the Pat's skills competition coming up January 27th. Which one are you going to win?
I don't know. I have to take a look. I'm probably hoping to do pretty good in the shooting ones, but I don't know. I don't know if we're all doing every competition, or if we're only getting to do a couple each, or how it's going to work yet. So once I find out which ones I'm in, I'll tell you which ones I'm winning.
Okay, I'll write this down. Caden Brown, anything with shooting. Done.
Congratulations again on the big decision, to commit to Lindenwood University for next season. We wish you the best of luck there, not only there, but obviously in the skills comp, and then, of course, against Swift Current on Wednesday night.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate the time. Caden Brown, Regina Pats forward, joining us, of course, for Pats Chat. And we are giving away those tickets. We are running a little over on time. So if you haven't already texted, now is your last chance. Send the word Pats, 306-936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line. Okay, we got to go. It's time. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. My name is Teagan Witko, your Monday host of The Cage. And on behalf of Dave Thomas, voice of the Riders, and Colson Schultz, thanks so much for being here. Good night from the studio on the corner of 12th and Rose.